All right. It says that we're live. Not sure how true that is. But if it is true, then let's prepare for it. And let's go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission, I hope you are doing well. Yeah, look at that. That camera looks way better, doesn't it? Super clean. Why is that other camera so weird? That's strange, huh? It shouldn't be that weird. Let me see if I can check it again. Yeah, it looks like it's not very high quality. Maybe the lens is fuzzy? Maybe it's not focusing correctly? What do you guys think is wrong with that? It says HD webcam. And then the one on my laptop is actually far superior. So kind of a weird thing. Let me double check the feedback loop and see if the audio is at least working. Don't know if it is either. Okay, it looks like it's using the right microphone. I'm going to have to toggle around a bit, guys. Give me a second. Testing out some new features here on the Alter Cam to see if it's even going to be worthwhile. It has like a focus ring on it, which is kind of weird. I'll see if that does something. See if I twist that. Like it kind of changed the focus a little bit, but it didn't make it any better, really. Managing moderators can support your channel. Wow. YouTube has an update for me, guys. Let me read this to you. It says that managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Introducing moderators. Wow. Kind of a weird thing, huh? Wonder why they would suddenly give me that message. Let me finish here. It says that introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live. Huh. Kind of a thing, huh? I don't know if I have any moderators. I got moderators from a long time ago, but none of them show up anymore. So that kind of defuncts that there aren't any, really. It's just me and you then, Wayfarer. We'll have to do without the moderators, right? I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I need a microphone stand that gets the microphone a little bit closer to my mouth, because I find that I'm picking this thing up. As far as I know, it actually will pick up my voice if I just set it on the table. But it feels like then I need to use a lot of my chi energy in order to boom my voice out to the mic, which I don't want to do. I don't want to do that. I don't want to stress my voice because it's what I use for my job. What is that button? Virtual background settings. I wonder if I can use the virtual backgrounds. Heads up, the green screen uses a bit more computer resources than other features. The more powerful your computer is, the better it will perform. Okay, got it. Let's give it a try. Let's see if the backgrounds will work. I think there are some Halloween ones available right now, which is pretty cool. Let's try this one. See if that does anything. I have a green screen. I don't have a green screen. Enhance skin appearance. Let's see if that works. It would be nice to enhance that skin a little, right? Don't know if that did anything. Do you guys notice any tangible changes in quality of my skin. And then the virtual background doesn't seem to come on. I'll click on another one and see if it does it. Huh. Upload a background. I think that's what a lot of people do. Anyway, that doesn't look like it's going to work. I'd rather just decorate my background. That would be more interesting to me. Some IRL stuff, right? Yeah, that camera is a tripper, huh? That camera's a real tripper, that side angle view. Let's see how it looks on the actual camera. That's kind of like the close-up, right? If I lean in towards it, you'll get the extreme close-up. So this kind of has me looking off to the side. And let me see if I look down at my phone, how that looks. That's kind of nice. I like the variation. I do enjoy variation. I like variety. Ooh, that background kicked in. That's weird. Let's see if it kicks in on my phone too. Let's see if it's going to show that background. Now I got a bricked out background, guys. I wonder if I can limit that to one camera angle. That would be kind of cool. Get the extreme close up with the bricks in the background. Looks like my picture froze though. Yeah, made my picture froze with me scratching my head. Kind of weird. How do I get rid of that shit? I guess I'm gonna have to hit the button. Visual effects. How do I close? Okay, none. I gotta click on none. There it goes. That should work. Maybe that'll reboot my image. But it didn't do anything. I look nice though. I look really innocent. Okay. I switched back to the front camera view. I'll see if that'll take effect. No? Didn't switch back. Nothing's taking effect now. Weird. The picture kind of froze. I wonder if I drop my thing and then put it back in. Give me a second. I will drop it and put it back in. Boop. All right, I did that and it didn't do anything. Okay, yeah, there it goes. There it goes. Maybe that'll work. No, it just brings back up that image. Weird. Weird. Let me turn off the camera. Maybe if I toggle the camera off and on. What's it doing to me, man? It's killing me here. Oh. Okay. Do you think that'll work? No, it brought that image back up again. Weird. All right, I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try to exit the room and come back in and see if that works. Give me a minute. All right. And we're back. Are we back? Yeah, we're back. Good magic. Yeah, that was kind of a fun adventure. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm just fucking around, guys. I'm trying out some new things here on the streaming software. See if there's anything of interest that could make the show a little more visually interesting. But it doesn't seem to. Doesn't seem to do much good. What's going on with you guys tonight? How are you? How's everybody out in Happy Land? Did you have a lovely Halloween? I hope so. It's good fun. I enjoyed my Halloween. I had a good time. I guess I could show you the altar. I wonder what that would look like. Let me kick on the lights on the altar and see if it turns up okay. I need to get a new bulb for my lava lamp. If I fuck around with this thing though, it might damn me. Is it gonna damn me? No, it looks alright. It's really like zoomed in though for some reason. I wonder why it's so zoomed in. And it's kind of off too. Like I don't feel like it's pointed directly in the direction that it should be. But yeah, kind of weird. Well, this is going to be a burnt run, huh? 10 minutes of me fucking around with camera angles. It's kind of a gay thing. Don't know if I care for that. I'd like to have it behind me though. That would be interesting. That would be fun. I'm gonna have to figure that camera out and see if I can adjust it. It's kind of a cheap thing, I think. I'm gonna have to see if I can adjust its settings. What did I do with those reading glasses? There they are. All right, let me get a closer look at this motherfucker. It's got a light on it. Don't know why it's got a light. That light doesn't even come on at all. Even when I turn on, look at how close up it is, man. It's weird. It's really weird. Okay. Is there any other buttons? Oh, there's a button underneath. That turns on the light. Let's see if that did anything to the camera's dimensions. No, it just turned on a light. Maybe this camera is meant for like extreme close-ups or something, or like microscopic vision. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's any way for me to adjust okay, that sets the adjustment, I think, out more, the focus, and then that brings the focus way in, right, like up close. So yeah, this thing might be meant for looking at things like in the detailed view, like magnifying or something. Do you think that's what's going on? Do you think it's a magnifying camera? Did I get the wrong thing? And it's got a little microphone on it too. It's kind of a weird thing. All right, I'm gonna quit fucking around with it. Let me turn it off. Yeah, I thought it looked pretty cool. I thought it looked like it had the head from Alien and Predator, and maybe like thought that microphone might be okay. I wonder if the microphone quality's, it's got to be shittier than my Razer. Let me see if I can switch to that microphone. Internal microphone, yeah, I could switch to that microphone. Microphone for USB 2.0 connection. Nope. No, that was weird. That didn't even seem to work at all. Kind of gay, huh? It's like it's broken. I guess it's a substandard product, guys. I'll try again. I bought this thing a while back, and I guess that's why I didn't use it. I guess it didn't work that good. And that's probably why I never hooked it up. I thought it would be better. It says high definition camera, and I thought it would be better than just having the laptop camera, because I thought I could adjust it, turn it, point it at different things, look at tarot cards and stuff like that. But it's not great at all. Not great at all. For example, like if I just use the camera on my phone, and if I connect it to the address there for StreamYard, it's got a way better microphone and a way better camera, even than my laptop, which is pretty cool. StreamYard. Ooh, that didn't work. Let's have a look. Sometimes these tools are less than intuitive. F5. Y7. All right, let's see if it works. It should. This usually works pretty good. I've tried this a couple times, and I'm gonna look at it in real time and see if the camera quality is as good as my laptop. It seems like it might even be better. Like the image on my laptop that I'm looking at in StreamYard looks way better than the image that's actually being broadcast to YouTube. And then the image across my phone, this particular phone, usually seems to be even way better. But I don't know, let's check it out. It's taken forever to log in. Oh, look, it's connected to something weird. It's connected to some alien Wi-Fi system. It was using my data. I had to reconnect it to the Wi-Fi here at the house. And it says something else is using my Wi-Fi as well. Maybe it's my phone. All kinds of spooky shit going on tonight, guys. Maybe that's because of the Halloween spirit, right? Maybe that's what's up. Pro tip, it says here for StreamYard. Up to 10 people can be on stage simultaneously. Have you ever seen 10 people on stage? Is that the way the Panelverse works? Do you think that, doesn't that seem like a little bit of overkill? How many people do you guys like to see on stage? Put it down in the ideas box. Put it in the chitter chatter box. If you haven't already, pick up a 5-pound box of wishy-washy dish soap. Wishy-washy dish soap comes with the complimentary wishy-washy washcloth. You can pick up a 5-pound box, Thompson's 5 and dime. You get a 20% discount coupon if you head over to buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday and pull a something in the tip jar. That will entitle you to a 20% discount on wishy-washy dish soap. Keeps your balls squeaky clean. Pick up a box of wishy-washy today. Tell them Frank Monday sent you. They might throw in an additional complimentary wishy-washy washcloth. Don't you like having squeaky clean balls? Wishy-washy gets it done, guys. Buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. My phone is actually never going to connect to StreamYard, so that's queer. I'm not gonna fucking wait for it though. I'm gonna get this show started at some point. It is Sunday night here in Twilight Zone, Peking, guys. Far behind the bamboo firewall. Frank Monday coming at you once again, like Finnegan. Um, Chilling like a villain, able and willing. Just wanted to see what was going on with all you guys out in Happy Land. See if anybody wanted to stop by and say hello. I said that I was going to be back within 24 hours, but I think this is a little more than 24 hours after I said that. So it took time. It took time for me to get back to the dorm, to get everything done that I needed to get done. Today we had a nice lunch with a professor from Beida, which is China's second most preeminent university here in Beijing. Everyone would probably agree that Tsinghua is number one, and Beida or Renmin Daxue is probably number two, number three, something like that. Tsinghua is like the MIT of China, or Caltech. It's actually where I went to my postgraduate program, and I studied poetry of all things at a technical university. So kind of an interesting thing. And then Renmin Daxue is more of their arts and cultural university, or Chuanmei. Chuanmei is their media university. And then Beida is just like their all-around highest academic performing university, I think. So that's the way it works here in Beijing. As far as I know, I can't keep all that shit in memory. It's not information that really serves me in my day-to-day work, so I don't usually keep it in the old brain box for long. Useless facts for me usually go in one ear and out the other. I just try to maintain that absolutely essential knowledge that's sine qua non to my practice, and everything else just kind of gets filed into the circular file. Yeah, I don't think we've said the prayer yet, so I'll go ahead and I'll do the adoration of Abraxas for you guys. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed, so mote it be. Amen. Hail unto thee who art raw in thy rising, even unto thee who art raw in thy strength. Remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength. Will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. Hey, Set's here. Set Zimbabwe. Set, how you doing? Good to see you again, man. Once again, like Finnegan. We're going to get Zen tonight, baby, me and you. If you've got a yen to expand your ken, then let's get Zen together. It looks like you are, yeah. One good viewer is all I need, man. I can monologue without an audience, but it's nice to know that someone's out there in the chitter chatter box, keeping it squeaky clean. I'm sure you picked up a 5-pound box of the wishy-washy dish soap over at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. The 5-pound box, $4.99. Get one today. Get one for a lover. Get one for yourself. Get one for the wife. All right, keep those balls squeaky clean with wishy-washy. Wishy-washy dish soap. It's the cleanest dish soap there is. Wishy-washy dish soap, natural ingredients. It's wishy-washy for all the people who scrubby-wubby in the tubby-wubby. Get your wishy-washy now. Don't be the last to pick up a box of wishy-washy at Thompson's 5 and dime. Yeah, it looks like you might be, man. You might be the only remaining human being on Earth, as far as I know. I don't know that there's anyone else out there but me and you. I have no proof of anything beyond the walls of my room at this time. Well, my door's open so I can see the living room, but I had that door shut, and then my son snuck in here and opened it. He wanted to see what I was up to. Probably reporting back to his mother, right? Get in there real quick and see what your father's doing. Tell me if he's drinking a beer. And he probably reported back to her, yeah, he's live streaming and having a beer. Okay, I'll turn him on YouTube. I'll see what he's talking about. I'll keep a hot stink eye on him. Make sure he's not flirting with any women. What have you been up to, Set? Or should I call you Voy? What's been going on with you? With you? You. It's interesting. I drew a card for the collective, and I drew the Hermit. And then one of my favorite PhD professors here on YouTube, Dr. Angela Puka, she drew the Hanged Man. And both are kind of indicative of like introspection and retrospection and looking within. And the one she drew is even more a card of holding things in abeyance and stepping back from the world a little bit. Do you guys know Dr. Angela Puka? Yeah, I really like her. She's kind of my style of girl. That's my flavor of woman right there. All right, I got a couple of shuffs. Let's get a card for the collective. A general energetic card for the collective. Ooh, the Three of Swords. Looks like heartbreak is in the air, guys. Have you had a heartbreak that left you feeling down? Have you suffered hardship that's got you on the ground? Old Frank Monday will recommend that you pick yourself back up. Get on out there and grab a cup. Wipe off the dirt and start to move around. No need to stay perpetually on the ground. Get back at it and get back in that saddle again. You might not find a 5 or 6. You might even score a 10. Yeah, the Lord of Sorrow and Despair, hardship, the Three of Swords, the heart, the three swords piercing the heart, the triangulation, the growth, groups dispersing, messages, wanting to express yourself, express your grief. Kind of a blow to people in the love game, the romance game. What a beautiful color, though. What a nice card. I like that a lot. I wonder if this will work. Let me try this. I'm going to grab this camera and I'm going to point it down at the card. Turn on the little light and see if this creates the effect I'm looking for. Let's give it a go. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Might as well give it a try, all right? Yeah, I really think that camera's kind of off in where it's like looking and focused. It just doesn't seem like it's pointed in the right direction. Let me see, go back a little further. And then the focus is kind of off too, right? Am I right in thinking that? Does that look a little better? right there. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to. I think this camera's of a lesser quality. I'll have to try to figure it out at some point, though. I might be able to get some use out of it. But it doesn't seem like it. Now, did it fuck with my microphone for some reason? No, my microphone still seems to be functioning. So there you have it, guys. Card for the collective. That light's really showing up, huh? Looks like an alien head poking up there. Alien. Get that motherfucker out of here. Might end up throwing that motherfucker in the garbage. Who knows? Pardon the language, guys. Pardon the language. Okay, there's the cards. Ooh. And now my earphone, the power's going out. I didn't set up anything correctly tonight, man. I'm just rolling with the punches. I figured I'd just tune in for about an hour, say hi to everyone. If anybody wanted to jump up here with me and chit chat, it could go a little longer. But this live stream's been such a disaster from the jump that I don't even know if it would be worth it. But it would be interesting to talk to someone. So, Voy, if you're out there, if you want to jump up here and chit chat for 30 minutes or an hour, let me know. If not, we might cut it real short. Cut it short. All hail the Father Dagon. All hail the Mother Hydra. The stars align. The shining trapezohedron emerges. And Cthulhu is risen. Drew a card for the collective. Why not draw a card for myself? Ooh, drew a card for myself, and it just happens to be the Magician. It's good magic, huh? I'm a bit of a magician, aren't I? New beginnings, opportunity, potential, commanding the elements, bringing down the abstract forces and making them tangible. Abrahadabra, the magician at work. The card of manifestation. The focused attention. The wizard's will and magical intent. Master of the 4 arcane implements. The wand, cup, pentacle, and athame, the air dagger. It doesn't show all of those here. He's got a wand in one hand and an orb in another hand. Then he's wearing one of them 10-gallon top hats. Kind of a bearded fellow. Nice robe. Almost more wizard-esque of like a Harry Potter style wizard or magician, rather than your classic neo-Romanesque magician. Still a lovely card. I really do like the dark blues and yellows. It's kind of a groovy color theme for me because I'm mostly watery elements. Yeah, I do like these cards. They have very, very voluptuous and curvaceous feminine figures. Very cool back to the card. All right, the pentacle. It's called the Stained Glass Tarot, guys. This one I'm looking at right now. I do like it. With the Magician in hand, I should probably cast a spell, huh? Cast a spell to get all my technology working correctly, huh? How about that? How about that, Frank Monday? Why don't you use some of that magic to have a decent live stream once in a while? Yeah, well, that's not really what magic's meant for. Hey, we've got another visitor in the ideas room. Good morning from Louisiana. Good to see you, Rose. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, you like that quote down at the bottom by old Lovecraft? That's why we do it, right? That's why we get involved If not for that, why even do it at all, right? Why even come on the internet? But to try to break away from the daily torture of the commonplace. That's why I do it anyway. I mean, I don't know. Everyone has their agenda, but for me, it's just, oh, good God, another day of the torture of the ordinary, right? Yeah, that's Lovecraft. He's one of my favorites. Yeah, I had downloaded a couple of videos. There's a channel called De Vermis Mysterious, which is The Mystery of the Worm, a book that was actually a fictional book that was created in one of Lovecraft's stories. But I believe that Robert Bloch is the one who first coined De Vermis Mysterious in response to Lovecraft's Necronomicon. And I think the first appearance of the Mysteries of the Worm was from The Shambler from the Stars. Is that the one? Yeah, The Shambler from the Stars was Robert Bloch, and then that was followed by... Or did Lovecraft write The Shambler from the Stars? Anyway, there were 3 of them. There's a trilogy, and they're all about... No, yeah, he wrote The Lurker in the Dark. The Lurker in the Dark. That was Lovecraft's response to Robert Bloch's The Shambler from the Stars. And then there's a third one, which was also written by Robert Bloch to end the trilogy. And I think it was The Thing in the Steeple, or The Horror in the Steeple. I know Lovecraft wrote The Thing in the Attic, but I think Robert Bloch's third one, I can't remember off the top of my head. I did some research on that a few years back for a literature class. I had a brief run on like the development of horror, because Lovecraft wrote a really wonderful, like, doctorate level thesis on the supernatural in horror. And I did like a whole overview and run through of it, and then introduced some stories. This was a senior class, right? A class of seniors. And I spent probably 3 weeks From Beyond. It's a good one. I probably spent about 3 weeks on that material, which was, I don't know, about right. Maybe longer than I should have. It might have been 2 weeks. I should have done 2 weeks. I wanted to do a whole class on it, but students never find, it doesn't seem that students find as interesting what the teacher finds interesting. I heard that from a professor a long time ago. I think my first couple of years of college. I remember that a professor said, whatever the teacher finds interesting, the students will find boring. And so, yeah, that seems to be the case. But yeah, we basically went through like all the beginning horror, gothic horror, and then on up into more modern horror, and the transition from like cosmic horror and then sci-fi horror and all of that kind of thing, and then into, I think we came as late as maybe the 50s, like the 1950s. I didn't bring them into the really modern stuff, because I feel like it's a little bit inappropriate for high school students in China. You know, some of it gets very graphic. They can handle like 1940s and 50s movies, but once you hit the 60s with like everyone, like using brain change agents and stuff, and Hollywood really going off the rails, then that's appropriate, I think, for Americans that are raised in the culture. But like the Chinese have a very conservative culture, and horror. You guys might not know this, but horror, though not outright outlawed, like it's not illegal, it is in fact extremely taboo, and on mainland China, and especially here in the north. And horror will never appear on television, any kind of horror, and they'll never show any type of really like violence. I mean, there's kung fu fights and stuff, but it's all choreographed and you can tell, and there's no real blood and gore in television or any kind of nudity at all. all of that is absolutely taboo in Chinese television. And yeah, there's no kind of ghost media, no horror thrillers, no monsters. None of that appears on regular television. You can get it online, but they do not screen horror movies. They will not screen horror movies from the West. They will import and screen certain movies. Like they had a whole run of superhero movies. They loved those, but they were somewhat toned down for the Chinese market. A lot of the overt violence was either like completely removed or just like really, really toned down. And yeah, kind of a thing. That was true in the West too. At least a lot of directors felt that it was somehow garish to use those types of tropes and gimmicks in storytelling. And some of the better horror, even from the US up until maybe the 70s or 80s even, would kind of steer away from that as well. Then it just kind of all got unleashed, and the West went hog wild with debauchery in filmmaking. I mean, obviously there was always a kind of a market for it from the 60s on, but I'm sure you can realize that as well, that like back in the 1950s there was just nothing really like shocking to the Western sensibilities that got put into movies or television. Hell, I don't even think you could use foul language. Even to today, I believe there are strict guidelines, though those are even breaking down now. I think I heard President Trump say fuck on television the other day, which was kind of a thing, right? It's very interesting. Rose says that her favorite sci-fi horror movie is Event Horizon. Yeah, that's a very modern movie, huh? I can't recall. I think I watched it, but maybe 10 years ago. It was about 10 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago. I don't recall the details, but I do recall the name. Set says he never appreciated the genre, to be honest. I've always liked horror, but not extreme horror. I think the most extreme I got was like Rob Zombie stuff. I still appreciated his movies, whatever they were, House of a Thousand Corpses, and those films that he made. But I really appreciated his style of cinema, almost kind of like a Tarantino-esque type of horror films. And yeah, From Dusk to Dawn is definitely one of my favorite vampire films ever. But like films like Saw, the one where they cut the people up, I think there were 12 or 13 of those made. That's way beyond my appreciation. I don't really like slasher film horror. I did enjoy the psychological thriller of Hannibal, though. Hannibal Lecter, the one that was, I think it was a Netflix one, done by that really handsome fella. And they're both of the two main actors, right? There was Hannibal, the guy cutting up and eating people, and then the guy he was hypnotizing to make him believe that he was doing it. I thought that was a really good take on that. I don't know if that's at all consistent with the story, but definitely made for an enjoyable mini-series. I think it was done in a mini-series, right? It seems like it was just one season. So yeah, definitely good magic. Hitchcock was good. I liked Hitchcock. Hitchcock Gaslight was the first thriller I viewed alone at night. Really good. Event Horizon was 97. Oh wow, yeah, that was a while ago. 97, that's pretty much when I was getting out of college. I graduated high school in 92, and I stayed in college a little longer than I should have. Did a lot of work in college. I've kind of never left school. I thought I would escape, and then once you get into a graduate program, it's like it's unending. You may never leave again. You stay there forever. You become a member of the faculty at some point because you run out of money. That was one of my most earnest desires when I was young, was to get away from school and never look back. And then here I am, 54 now, 54 years later, and I'm still going to school every day. Kind of a fucking thing, huh? Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Rose says she was 13 and it impacted me a lot. 13, you were born in 84, huh? Wow. You're just you're a chillin'. Well, you're I don't know, 12 years younger than me. So you're also an ox, if I calculated correctly. You'd be a tiger, I believe. Year of the tiger. Wait, let me see if I'm doing my math correctly. 85, 84. Yeah, I think that's right. I think you would be the year of the tiger, not the ox. 85. Okay, don't worry. 84. So it would be tiger, ox, rabbit. Are you? No, you're not a rabbit. 12, 87. Ox. You're either an ox or a tiger. Am I correct in that? I'm getting the math a little mixed up in my head. They got you. Okay. They find a portal to hell, and there are astronauts stuck on a possessed spaceship. Sounds like a pretty cool premise. I'll have to watch it again. You're an ox. Okay, yeah. That's good magic. I'll have to watch it again for sure. Event Horizon. I don't know if I was to sum up and say an all-time favorite movie. That's kind of a big ask, huh? Maybe I could come up with the top 3 favorite movies, or maybe a favorite movie from each genre. Yeah, I feel more nostalgia for the 80s because I was a teenager in the 80s. I was 10 in 82, and then so like the 80s were my time, right? Well, no, 10 or 11, I guess. No, 10, 83, yeah. 73, 83. So the 80s were more my teen years. I guess my 20s were pretty nice too, though. Like going to college, I was pretty successful in college, and I had a really good time. I bought a lot of things. Like, I probably told you guys a little bit about my story. Like, my dad had a stroke and passed away when I was like 17. Well, he had a stroke when I was 17, and then he finally passed away when I was 19. He didn't recover from it. And I think I don't know exactly what ended up killing him, right? But just complications. He just went downhill from there. But yeah, I started kicking ass and working really hard, working 2-3 jobs at a time sometime, and going to school full time, sometimes part time. Usually though, at least 12 hours a semester. I put myself through school and helped my mom out. I was the only one that stuck around out of all the kids. Everybody abandoned her when that happened. And so I was pretty proud of myself. I was practicing my kung fu every day and, studying magic and going to school. Got a bachelor's degree in small business administration. Planned on becoming a businessman, a small businessman. I wanted to run some kind of shop, maybe a restaurant. I worked in the restaurant industry a lot. And I bought a house, then I bought a second house, then I sold both houses and bought a third house. Then I sold that house and remodeled my mom's house, and then bought a house next to her. And so I got into kind of buying and selling houses and cars, because that's what my dad did. Well, my dad wasn't real estate. He was in the automotive industry after the Navy. But yeah, I was rocking and rolling. Like, I went to a Chinese Taoist soothsayer and I told him about my situation. And I was kind of, dick in the dirt, kind of depressed or whatever. And he said, you can do one of two things. He said, if you let it break you and you stay sad, you'll pick up the negative aspects of your father's spirit. He said, but if you use your your image of your father to motivate you, and attempt to become like him, you'll pick up the good aspects of his spirit, and you'll have benefited from his long life, essentially, and be able to utilize that to ride the wave of prosperity forward. Because we went from an upper middle class family to having basically nothing, from hero to zero. And so I took myself back from zero to hero once again. He was right, man. It was good advice. That was old Master Nihua Ching himself that told me that. He was kind of a dick, though, too. But you shouldn't criticize your gurus too much, especially if they have a boon effect on helping you and help you transform your life. You should just appreciate that, move on, and always try to have those good memories of them. Yeah, Master Ni was a high-level magician, man. Good magic. That wasn't my favorite movie. It's my favorite sci-fi horror. Okay, yeah, good magic. I appreciate that, Rose. My favorite sci-fi horror or like cosmic horror. Let me think about that for a minute. It's a damn good question. I don't know, my favorite fantasy adventure movie, that would be easy for me. Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's probably absolutely my favorite fantasy adventure. Before the more modern times, like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, though. I'm more of a Conan the Barbarian. Because I was a pretty hardcore Hessian when that film came out. I was already, well into Iron Maiden and other forms of heavy metal. So that was my jam right there. I loved me the old Conan the Barbarian. And then for sci-fi, probably Dune. I would say Dune's my favorite sci-fi, the one by David Lynch. That was a fantastic film. Seems overtly boring, but once you read the books, then it takes on greater depth and layers of meaning. But yeah, at the surface level, Dune's kind of an epic, very I don't know what the wording for it, cinematic masterpiece of and a lot of instrumentals in the backdrops and huge sets, or at least presumed. Yeah, it was a good film. Good film. That's probably my favorite sci-fi film from that era. But what about sci-fi horror? I don't know, maybe Alien? Alien, the original Alien with who was that? Sigourney Weaver, right? The original Alien might have been one of, just because the monster was so scary or seemed so scary at the time. Yeah. And then what would Blade Runner be categorized as? I'm thinking that's somehow sci-fi, but it's not really horror. It's more like sci-fi adventure or sci-fi dystopian. I think that would probably better describe it. It's up there among the tops. Favorite all-time romance movie? 1940, believe it was 1941 or 42, The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. So if we're going way back there into the annals of filmmaking, yeah, Conan's great. When he gets those drugs, right, and he's eating them, and he's like, the Haka tells him it's Stygian, the best. And he says, this better not be Haga or something like that. Hagar. And he's like, would I sell Haga to a slayer such as you? It's the good stuff. Chew slowly. Yeah, there's so many good one-liners and exchanges from that. What's your name? Subutai, thief and archer. Dinner for wolves. I haven't eaten in days. Who says you'll eat again? Hang him on the tree of woe. Crucify him. All right, the riddle of steel, boy, you know it. Yeah, what was that guy's name? James Earl Jones played the snake, the snake lord of Set. Yeah, so you're in that movie, Set. That whole movie's all about you, the cult of Set, right? The cult of the snake. Valerian Jihad. How did he know? Yeah, Dune was really good. Power Metal is the best. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, so those are some of my favorite films. Liked a lot of David Lynch stuff. Watched all of the Fire Walk with Me, Twin Peaks. Really enjoyed those. I enjoyed them rebooting it too. Yes, Blade Runner's just sci-fi. Okay. Set in a dystopian future though, right? Yeah, they rebooted a couple of things right towards the end. Terminator sci-fi horror. Okay. Alien is too, right? Alien would be sci-fi horror to some extent, I think. Terminator was a great one. Hell, anything with Arnold building his career at that time, if it wasn't just like he did that kids movie or whatever, I thought that was pretty lame. But like seeing Arnold as the like just in his full glory, his bad accent and his beautiful body, right? He was wonderful. Not the greatest actor, but just wonderful to watch. What a thing. I don't know. Among my favorite actors of all times, though, I gotta admit, Tom Cruise. And what was that? Top Gun. That film that really had a huge influence on me. Growing up in a military family, and a lot of the military films. Full Metal Jacket, but Tom Cruise, he seemed like such a like a wonderfully handsome and friendly, like full of energy, and kind of the guy, either the guy you wanted to be or the guy you wanted to hang out with. You know, that's how I always saw Tom Cruise. Ladies' man, good looking, handsome smile. He's kind of got small eyes though. I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not. But he's got like little beady rat eyes. But he always struck me as, I like the darker hair too. Like I grew up with really blonde hair. Like you can't tell because I got a little bit of grease in it right now. But I was actually born I was toe-headed. I had white hair. And it started to darken as I got older. And it's continued to darken a little bit. But yeah, you always want the opposite somehow. Yeah, Wild at Heart, Blue Velvet, Eraserhead. Those are all David Lynch, right? Yeah, the day he died, I found out like a strange thing about living in China. And I was actually rewatching Twin Peaks right when he passed, which is very synchronistic. And I was thinking about him because I had a friend who was really in love with his films, and he's the one that introduced me to them. But yeah, that was a thing. Like here in China, there were guys that passed away that I didn't know until 10, 15 years later. 5, 10, 15 years later, I'd find out some of my favorite people had already died. And the day Lynch died, I found out like within a couple of hours, I had jumped on the internet and I saw the news and I was like, damn. And he wasn't that old either. He wasn't a fucking spring chicken either, though. I think he was probably in his 70s, maybe 68, 70, something like that. Maybe a little older. But those dudes they got old quick, man. A lot of them got old before their time. That lifestyle, I think, is kind of hard on them. And being in front of the public eye, like the Eye of Saturn, right? The Satyrian one-eyed god. Odin looking down on you. Scrutiny will make people age faster than anything else, man. Being under constant scrutiny and like performance in front of a camera and stuff, that shit's nerve-wracking, because people try to pick you apart. They're like, oh, look at you, your ears are funny shaped, or like I just said about Tom Cruise, you got beady little rat eyes. And so it's a thing. You have to learn to just totally fucking ignore human opinion and not try to live up to other people's image of you. because otherwise it'll just wear you out, man. It will absolutely wear you out. I mean, obviously we have to maintain some standards. You know, we can't just come out acting like an asshat all the time. So there has to be a bit of a give and take. You have to observe the feedback loop and hopefully somehow let it guide you towards gradual improvement. Crom, I've never prayed to you before. Atop his mountain, right? And Subutai says, my God is the four winds. He laughs at your God. And Arnold's like, what the fuck? You laughing at Crom, baby? Yeah. I seldom pray to him, for he does not listen. Yeah, what a sink, right? Yeah, and here's the strangest thing, too. I was looking into a documentary about his backstory. You see, my dad was one of his buddy, my dad's buddy from New York, Jimmy Gymnopoulos, was the CEO of Paramount Pictures for a long time. I think he still might be worth, millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's a buddy of my dad's. And we're LA, we're all in LA. And my dad was one of the original investors in Paramount Pictures. And he did a lot of things with Jimmy. We called him Jimmy Gymnopoulos. I think his name's something else. But you can look him up. He's on Wikipedia. Friend of the family. And when I was a little boy, I remember my dad taking me to the Bob's Big Boy down from his business. And that's the same Bob's Big Boy that David Lynch would sit in and write ideas down on napkins. And I swear to fucking God, I was sitting with my dad one time and he said, sit here for a bit, kid. And he went over and he sat down with that napkin artist, that guy sitting there fucking writing on napkins. And I got up from my chocolate milkshake or whatever. And I walked over there. My dad, he'd always buy me a burger at Bob's Big Boy and one of those big chocolate milkshakes in the steel cup. And I walked over there and I said, hey, what are you writing on the napkin? I was like 5 or 6 years old. I totally remember this. And he's like, oh, it's just a few ideas, kid. And I'm like, that looks cool. And he's like, you can have it, said, it might be a keepsake or something like that. And I took it and I played with it for, I don't know, a couple of hours or something, but I ended up, throwing it away or whatever, or leaving it somewhere. But that could have in fact been David Lynch's napkin, because my dad was big time connected, fucking mafia, all kinds of shit. And he met with and rubbed elbows with, all these people in the movie business, especially pornography. But and VHS, he was on board with all the launches of everything. Like, he was invested in Michael Jackson's Thriller on VHS, involved in the distribution. He did the first arcades in LA, like coin-op arcades, video games and shit. He did that. He did bubblegum machines, like the gumball. You'd stick in a nickel and get a gumball. Him and his buddies were involved in all that shit. They had their fingers in every fucking pie in LA. And yeah, what a thing, man. Like, when he died, I totally, that memory came right back to me. And I was like, God damn, man. What a small world. Like, you never know how many, it's just, you never know how many people you're going to cross paths with. I mean, my dad was, during World War II, he was on Admiral Nimitz' team. He was like the rear admiral of the U.S. Navy. And he was on one of their top secret fucking communication teams. And I got a picture of him. There's maybe 40 or 50 officers with Admiral Nimitz right there in the middle, commanding them all. It's a beautiful picture. I might even have it in my desk here now. But yeah, I was looking through some of those old black and white photos from his Navy days and thinking about some of those old stories, because around Halloween, that's when you think of your dead, that's when they come back to you. I love the way David Lynch would shake his hand in the air while talking because he was thinking hard. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, me noticing his wriggling hand. Yeah, that's good magic, man. He was up to some serious fun stuff, man. Serious fun stuff. Yeah, those were back in the days when they'd still put ashtrays on the tables. in the restaurants. Those guys would sit in there and do coke off the table and shit. They didn't give any kind of fucks, you know. They would have a revolver in their pocket and do a line of coke right off the diner table. Yeah, kind of a whole thing. Kind of a fun thing too, right? Like life. Life's a fun thing, man. Eraserhead did such a perfect job highlighting the absurdity of awkwardness of meeting the parents. Yeah, that was a really awkward thing, right? Meeting people's parents. In fact, my first girlfriend, one of my first girlfriends, but I was thinking about a first girlfriend recently, and her name came up. Like, her pops was in the defense industry and at some capacity. I can't remember if he worked for Raytheon or one of the other companies, but my uncle, my mother's younger brother, worked for Raytheon. And so I always went over to their house, and like when we hit 12, 13 years old, she grew like giant melons. And I was like, damn, that's kind of fun. And like before that, we went from like a platonic friend type relationship to me being very, very like aroused by her and sexually interested in her. And she's like, you know, yeah, you can be my boyfriend or whatever. And I heard something about her dad recently too, and I was like, damn, he's still in the business. So if I'm the age I'm at, then I mean, if him and his wife had her when they were like in their 20s, maybe, I guess mid 20s or something, then he would have to be close to 80 or 80 plus now. But he's still out there kicking around and working in the defense industry to some capacity, which really kind of blew my mind. But then it made me wonder about her, because I don't think she made it. I think she passed in like her mid 40s, which a lot of the people of my generation, Generation X, they haven't made it this far. Like most of the people I was really close with, in fact. One guy I'm still friends with, he recently was in Hollywood about maybe 5 or something years ago, and he made a horror movie. He was producer on it. It was kind of his idea, but it's called Pretty Boy. I don't think it did anything. I don't think it made any kind of money or anything, really. Maybe made his money back. It was a very low budget film, though. In fact, I couldn't even finish it. It wasn't good. I don't think they did a very good job on it, but it was called Pretty Boy. But yeah, he directed, or I don't think he directed. No, he was like assistant director and a producer. So he funded it in part. My favorite moment, meeting the parents. Yeah, David Lynch was absolutely a genius. And he was one of those napkin in the diner guy writing ideas down on napkins, man. That's a legitimate thing. And that may have been him. And I don't fucking doubt it either. Because I remember the big hair. Like, I remember that big hair. Because not everybody kept their fucking hair. Most people went bald. But all the guys with good hair, like, they were, you know, big money makers, man. My dad, he had good fucking hair. Lynch had good hair. The guy who played Paul Atreides in the Dune film, he had wonderful hair, man. What was his name? He was in a bunch of films later on too. I think he's still doing films. One of his most beloved roles to me is when he played that guy that had amnesia and like won all the money in the casino. I forgot what that film was called. Was it a film or a miniseries? But yeah, the guy who played oh, very good. Very good. No, that's good trivia right there. Yeah, Walken's one of my favorites. One of my most favorite roles of Walken is when he played the angel or the demon in that movie about angels and demons. I don't even remember the name of it now, but I remember him squatting up on the wall over the guy he was talking to, and like just such classic fucking Walken at his best. That was like the epitome of his career for me. That and True Romance. Those two sealed the deal. He just so Walken in those, right? And of course, Saturday Night Live, we need more cowbell, right? I got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell. So good. So good. Yeah, you got to massage your scalp. You got to brush your hair, keep it oiled up. Keep that olive oil in there. Greasy Italians, Sicilians. If that's true, and I believe it is, then your ancestors are part eggplant. Yeah, True Romance, one of the best films ever. Was that Tarantino? I believe that was Quentin Tarantino. If I'm correct in that. Not sure, but Patricia Arquette, oh my God, what a beautiful girl at that time. Beautiful woman. The most seductive, alluring, just got an ass that tastes like French vanilla ice cream, right? Does my ass look like Dennis Hopper? There it is there. That's right. Does my ass look like it tastes like French vanilla ice cream? Right? Do I look like a bitch to you? Then why are you trying to fuck me like one? She has fucked up teeth like me. Like my teeth and her teeth were exactly the same. And she said everybody in Hollywood always told her, hey, you got to get braces. You got to fix your teeth. And she said, no, I don't. It's one of my distinguishing features. And that's the reason they chose her for that film, True Romance. I remember listening to the, what are those called? Director's commentary on the DVDs back in the time of DVDs, right? In the 90s. They put all the DVDs out with the director's commentary and other people's commentary and talking about the movie. So you'd watch the movie and then you'd rewatch it like 100 times with all the different commentaries on there, right? And she said that she kept her teeth crooked because it was one of her distinguishing features, and that really, it made her smile all the more alluring. I mean, everybody's got perfect fucking teeth in Hollywood. It's no big deal to have perfect teeth, but to maintain crooked teeth when everybody fucking gives you a hard time about it, that's harder to do. Yeah, so she had a strong character, and I can appreciate her for that. Patricia Arquette, absolutely one of my first silver screen loves. For sure. Her and Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald was probably my first. And Madonna, of course. Material Girl. But she was a singer. Yeah, but Patricia Arquette, she was so awesome. Jewel also didn't get braces. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Wow, the fucking teeth are gonna fall out eventually anyway, Everyone's like doing these, they worry about these cosmetic things when we're all headed straight for death and there's nothing we can do about it. Grow old gracefully, work with your I'm wiggling the hand for David Lynch here. Work with your endowment and do the best you can. And obviously if you can improve, improve. But some things are good, other things aren't, I've got good features and I've got bad features. My fucking teeth are one of my bad features. Dentists have told me that if I had gotten braces when I was a kid, that my teeth would be in better condition. Yeah, you have to get your teeth fixed. Like, it's true that teeth can kill you. They can get infected and they can kill you. My problem was I didn't want to get my wisdom teeth pulled because I was an entire naturalist. And I thought, lift weights up till your 80s. Yeah, that makes sense. You shouldn't do too heavy weight, though. The more weight you lift, the younger you die, I think. Take more naps. Walk slowly, man. Chew your food thoroughly. I kept my wisdom teeth until my 40s. And in my 40s, they started, dying, rotting and then breaking. And there was nothing I could do about it. I brushed my teeth all the time, fucking religiously, brush and floss, and they just exploded. Like one of them, it started with one, and it just turned black and then exploded, and I had to have it pulled out, and it made me sick. Like it made me literally sick. And then the doctor's like, "You got to pull all four of them. They're all gonna die." And I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "Why do we even grow wisdom teeth if they're not useful?" So because I didn't have enough probably proper nutrition when I was younger because I just didn't like to eat. I wasn't that interested in food. It pushed my teeth forward, the wisdom teeth coming in. They came in good, but it took them fucking from 19 to 41 to fully grow in. And I wanted to let them fully grow in. I thought that they must be an important factor in someone's life. Like my tonsils, I would never let them take my tonsils out. I thought I got fucking tonsils. I grew them. They're a part of my natural system. I'm not giving up anything. I had appendicitis one time and I didn't let them remove my appendix. You know, I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I'll starve myself. I'll drink a lot of water. I'll rest. I'll either live through it or I'll die. And it resided. I lived through it. Ignorance is bliss. That's right. Lose that wisdom. That Lao Tzu would advise that. Absolutely. Empty your mind and fill your belly. So yeah, so I finally got all four of those motherfuckers pulled, but it took 4 years. I pulled one a year. And then when I got them all removed, some of my other teeth had already been affected. They said that due to the wisdom teeth, it eroded part of my jawbone. And so I lost a back molar, and then I got one capped, and then I got one upper one capped. And now I've got one more like dead tooth in the back, and my front teeth have always been kind of fucked up. So yeah, it's a whole thing. But you can't have it all, right? You can't have these good looks and then perfect teeth too. Some people do, like Tom Cruise, but then he's got beady eyes, right? Whereas I have big, beautiful blue eyes. So, you know, you get what you get. Make the best of it. Live your fucking life. Don't worry about the endless human opinion. Yeah, I agree with that. That's fucking a lot of trauma at once, right? They tried to do that to me too. Like when my mom took me down to the doctor, I was like 15 or something. I had tonsillitis. And he's like, yeah, we get in there, remove those tonsils, remove the adenoids, fucking dig in and get the wisdom teeth out before they start growing and get this kid fixed up right. And I'm like, fuck all that. Y'all crazy. I'm like, you're not going to put me under the knife for any goddamn reason. And so, you know, there's the good and the bad. I lived through the literal pain of every year my wisdom teeth would hurt for 22 fucking years, just like the Hebrew alphabet, right? 22 years they would hurt while they grew, and it was always in the autumn to winter. They would grow and they would fucking hurt, and I would get serious hardcore migraine headaches from it. And that happened every year for 22 years, and I still just endured it and didn't want to fucking go under the knife and get them pulled out. And then once I got them pulled, it was much easier than I thought it was going to be. You know, they like shot up my gums with some local anesthesia and ripped the motherfuckers out, you know. If you've ever had a tooth pulled, you know. Yeah, they want to take everything. They'd rather just chop you up, and because then you're a repeat customer at that point. You got to come back for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's right. They did take my gallbladder, and my spleen also died. Jesus, that's fucking hardcore, Rose. Blessings to you, man. My heart grieves for you. And it goes to show that no matter how bad you have it, somebody else out there has suffered something far worse, right? There's some dude out there wobbling around right now on like a skateboard with no arms and no legs, and he's still busy getting it more hardcore than any of us, right? And Rose is barely alive, but she's still here. That's right, Seth. No, that's crazy shit. Yeah, so I'm fucking happy. I'm happy with my situation. I'll have to get in the next couple of years, and maybe soon I'll have to get this tooth. They say they want to pull it and then put one of those screw-in tooths, which is kind of going to be a nightmare, screwing a fucking fake tooth into the bone. And then I'll probably have to have something done with these front teeth as well. Thinking about maybe a platinum grill with some diamonds. That would look nice. But yeah, it is what it is. 90% of the people end up with dentures anyway. Very few live their entire lives and maintain a good set of teeth. But a woman I did meet, my wife's grandmother, she died at 93 and she had a perfect set of fucking teeth. She ate mostly like raw vegetables and soups and stuff as she got older. And she said she brushed her teeth once a day, usually not with toothpaste. She would just brush her teeth before she went to bed at night. And she would always drink green tea. She drank green tea every day of her life for like her whole life. And something with the flavonoids and like the antiseptics in green tea, that's the shit, man. If you haven't heard of the fucking benefits of green tea, that old woman, she lived to 93 in good health pretty much until like the last couple of weeks, and had a beautiful set of teeth in her mouth. New teeth gonna make you look even prettier, Frank. Yeah, thank you for that set. No, I'm already pretty enough, boy. Yeah, drink that green tea, man. That shit's that's the mystery cure right there. For real. I mean, she had an overall generally good lifestyle. Like, she took a nap every day and she'd go for a walk in the sunshine every day. And she suffered a lot of hardship too. Like, I'm not saying she didn't have a hard life. She lived through the Cultural Revolution, and like they took everything from her family. Like, she grew up in a wealthy family when she was young, and when the revolution struck, they came down. I think they killed her father like right in front of her. And they took all of her family fortune. They kicked them all out and put them on like plantations up in the north, like digging up potatoes or something in Siberia. And she ultimately recovered from that and rebuilt her life. She used to tell me story after story, man, about how bad it was. She said during the hard times, like tons of people starved to death, dying in the street. People were eating rats and leather belts and each other. There was a certain amount of cannibalism. And she said she maintained her moral virtue and her dignity and never stooped and almost starved to death several times. But she just never gave up on life and made it all the way through and raised a big, healthy family. And ended up becoming a very prosperous woman in her middle age, and then lived to 93. So she died in like, maybe I'm thinking like 2013. So if she was 93 at that point, that means, she was born. I remember now. She was born the same year as my dad. So she died a little earlier than that. She was born in 1917. That's right. I remember. Because when she told me that, I was like, oh, you were born the same year as my father. All right. And so 83 plus 10, 2010. She must have died in 2010. And she was the only one out of my wife's entire family that like genuinely loved me. Like, when she met me, she was just all over me for the whole time she was alive. I guess I knew her only about 9 years then, 8 or 9 years. Lovely woman though. Beautiful woman, yeah. Yeah, 1917. I was thinking she died in 2013, but I guess it was 2010. Because I remember clearly she was 93 when she passed. So imagine that, man. That's quite a life. Quite a fucking life. Hoo-wee. Hoo-doggy. All right, and that would Monsieur Talcout. Isn't that his? Ooh, doggy. I think that's TML too. I think he got that from Talcudia though. I might be wrong. Either one of you good-looking, sexy people out there in Happy Land want to jump up here and chat with me live? I'm gonna take a short bathroom break, guys, and while I'll do that, I will play a little bit of a musical break for you, so that I can return some of this borrowed water, and then grab myself another Another can of the old PGO. And then I will return. And if any of you good-looking, sexy people out in Happy Land would like to join me, please do not be afraid to do so. I'll drop the link, guys. And I'll drop the song. Then I'll drop the link. Then I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. This one is 4 minutes long. So that should give me just enough time. There it is there. Got to add it to the stage. There's the link. It's in the chitter chatter box. Make sure you guys keep it wishy-washy clean with wishy-washy dish soap at Thompson's 5 and Dime. Get the 20% discount coupon over at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. And I will see you in 4 minutos.
Wanting my heart, wanting my soul still, till the last stars decline. This vixen will take more than my wine. Damn the vampires in Judas Mill. Take and they take, never get their fill. In the night under the moon's cold glow, they weave spells and secrets that only shadows know. Devils down in Judas Mill won't ever break free from her thrill. Under skies so dark and wide, she'll haunt till the last star dies. Devils down in Judas Mill, wanting my heart, wanting my soul still, till the last stars decline. This vixen will take more than my wine. Damn the vampires in Judas Mill. Take and they take, never get their fill. In the night under the moon's cold glow, they weave spells and secrets that only shadows know. Devils down in Judas Mill won't ever break free from her thrill. Under skies so dark and wide, she'll haunt till the last star dies. Under skies so dark and wide, she'll haunt till the last star dies.
All right, all right, all right. There it is there. Dweller of the Dark with The Devil's Down in Judas Mill. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to it. I enjoyed playing it. And yeah, it is what it is. Doing good magic. Well, I dropped the link. I don't see any takers. So we're getting close to the hour and a half mark. Kind of a big deal to monologue for that long. Don't have that many entertaining stories, especially here at the end of the week. I could read a couple of tarot cards. Not really feeling it, guys. Kind of feeling like it's the end of the week, tapering down. Have myself a beer. Start on my second beer here. It's getting late into the evening. How was your Halloween? You guys could tell me about it out in the chitter chatter box. Did you have a happy Halloween? I did. I took my daughter and my son to an amusement park, and they kind of dressed up a little bit, but we just went there to enjoy the festivities. Oh, we do have a visitor here in the ideas room. So we've got Monsieur Set backstage, ready to come on. And I'll go ahead and bring him up. So with no further ado, welcome to the stage, everyone. Voy, tuning in from the other side of the world, man. How are you doing?
Yeah,
Good magic, my friend.
reporting from Happy Land, dude. Autumn is
reporting from Happy Land. Good.
Yeah, autumn is kicking in here, dude. It's it's been raining and windy for months, like 2 months in a row. Like too much autumn, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just checking my calendar. According to the Chinese lunar solar calendar, winter starts next week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it should be well into autumn, man. All of our leaves started falling about a week ago.
Mm-hmm. So are you in the northern hemisphere?
I am. My latitude or longitude is probably about as high as New York City, Boston kind of area. So it does get cold. We get snow typically a couple of times each winter. It gets frigid cold here, though. Do you guys in the Europe, do you measure your temperature by centigrade, Celsius, or Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
With the C, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it gets down here. Here it gets to about -10, sometimes a little lower.
Yeah. Same here. It used to be more extreme in the, many years ago, but -10 would be extreme nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in the days we used to go skating. Maybe not every winter, but most winters, we would go skating, anywhere.
Okay. On the ice, right? Ice skating.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because, things would freeze over. And that used to be the national sport. Everybody used to have ice skates, but that's not a thing anymore.
Snowshoes too. Aren't you guys famous for like walking around the countryside with the big snowshoes? Looks like a tennis rack.
No.
That's Switzerland, right?
We are famous for clogs, right? For
okay.
The wooden shoes. And
right.
let me tell you this about, because you've mistaken there. If you use clogs, wooden shoes, if you walk with wooden shoes in the snow, I'm not gonna tell you what's gonna happen, but that's a whole fucking new experience. You will see what happens. It's the weirdest thing. You wouldn't even be able to guess it.
I don't know. Do your feet like freeze in the shoe or something?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never worn a pair of clogs. I have seen them though.
So I did do that, and so the thing that happens is a whole tower of snow builds up under your clog. So your sole builds up, right? So with every step you take, depends on the snow that you're walking, right?
You get a little taller.
I've experienced this. Every step you take, the sole gets higher. So at a certain point, you walk there with very high soles, with how do you call this? High heels, high soles.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you fall off those soles and they break off. That's what happens when you walk the snow with wooden shoes, dude. It's a very weird experience.
That is kind of a weird thing, huh? Yeah, that's a bit trippy.
Yeah.
Napoleon would have liked that because he was a notoriously short guy, right?
I guess he never knew that trick, dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he ever went that far north.
Yeah.
He was a greasy little southerner.
Yeah, one of these. He was just like a little Zelensky, dude. He was. If you want to think of Napoleon, that's like. If you want to have a modern day, if you don't know what Napoleon was like, think of Zelensky.
Zelensky. Did you know how short Putin is? How tall is Zelensky?
He's even smaller than Putin, I think.
Putin's only 168 centimeters. He's like 5'6".
That's tiny. That's tiny, but still.
That's small, man. That's below World War II standards. The average height of a man during World War II was 175 centimeters.
168 is good for a pilot, though.
Yeah, and a horse jockey.
Right, or a newsreader. They're usually very tiny too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
A ball boy at the tennis court. But yeah, that's short by today's standards. What about yourself? Are you a Napoleon-esque, or are you closer to your average World War II infantry?
No, I'm just the average length of my country.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 170.
I think I'm into shrink age now.
Yeah, me too, man.
So,
my greatest height was 176. That's as tall as I've ever been. I may have shrank.
My actual height is 184. So.
Oh wow, yeah. You're a fucking giant compared to me.
No, that's not giant, but I think I'm 182 by now. So, yeah. Something like that, or 183. I don't know.
Yeah, we start to shrink when we get a little older. Yeah, that's a good height. My son's 183 right now, so he's getting up there. He's getting up to your height.
Yeah, I've been working for this employer, and this was a lady, right? This blonde, tall lady, and she was a big woman, dude. No, not big, but tall, right? Firm.
Okay.
And she used to stick out like way above me. That was 20 years ago or 25 years ago. And now that I meet her in the village, and she shrunk so much, dude. I'm like, what? Is the shrinkage that bad? Is it like 20? But then I started thinking, no, man, she was wearing high heels all the time, So.
Oh, okay.
But still, she stood up like 10 centimeters above.
Well, the taller you are, the more you'll shrink too.
I think so, dude. My mom is remarried this guy, and he also stood up, like 5-6 centimeters above me or more, and he shrank below me, in a couple of years. But then again, he's almost 80. No, he is 80.
Okay.
So.
I've met older guys though that were 6 foot plus, 100. What is that? 190 centimeters. And they did well.
6 foot is 182, I think, or
182. So you're over 6 foot.
I'm somewhat over. I'm still 6 foot and something. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a good height. My dad was 6'1", so he's about the same height as you.
Yeah. But that's very common in my country. That's not tall. That's just
Northerners are typically more taller. My Swedish friend Thomas, we talked about last time. He was about 6
I always used to be with the tall guys, but never I never was the tallest guy in my class or in my surroundings. There would always be somebody slightly taller than me or
Yeah, it shows too. You look a bit lanky. That's why I wasn't afraid to ask you, because I didn't think that you were a short man.
You can
Some
see
people,
it, right? You can make it
yeah,
out
you
on
could see it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people get very self-conscious about that, and if it, like if you're over 5'10", like 175, I think you're doing all right. So I'm not too worried about it. You know.
I mean, yeah. I don't feel special about having that 6 foot. I mean, it's a
Well,
thing
it
these days,
it does though. It has a certain
I
nobility
think
to
it
it.
does. I think
It
it
does,
does.
yeah. Short guys are fucking. They're vertically challenged, and it makes their whole attitude about life like totally change. I've met very
True.
few
True.
short men that had good personalities. It's just a fucking God's honest fact. It's truth.
Well, that depends. I mean, I think there's more of an issue if you're a short guy in a taller community. If there's taller
Right.
guys around you, then it's a thing, right? But if you're just a short guy amongst other short guys, or I'm calling
Yeah,
them short guys, right? But
that's true. You're probably
if
right
it's
about
just
that.
the average height or length, then it's not so much of an issue, I guess.
Yeah, southern China, they're notoriously far shorter than they are in the north. And I
Yeah.
was always, I was always under this misconception about the stereotypes of China that I'd come over here and I'd be above average. But the northerners, they've got Mongolian mix and Russian mix, and they're all 6 foot.
Yeah. No.
You come to Beijing, these guys they're tall. They're fucking they're they're like regular sized men. They're not at all short. But if you go to the south, then they're all like 5'6", 5'7", So it's it's something to do with the
Yeah, that's
northern
quite a
region.
difference,
Maybe.
right? I mean, yeah. That's like almost 20 centimeters, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So like the difference between like you said, 184 and like 160s, you're talking like 20 centimeters.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so significant that you immediately recognize it. You're like, oh my God, these I'm above eye level on all these guys. So that's what I was thinking all of China would be like. But then when you get here to the north, everyone's a little bit taller a little bit
So
taller than me.
you reside in the north?
Yeah. We're not that far from the Mongolian border.
Uh-huh.
That's why the Great Wall of China is here, because it's like the division point between the far north and China itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Beijing is like right on the northern border, and it's called Northern Capital, Beijing. There's also a southern capital,
So
Nanjing.
which word is north? Jing?
Bay.
Hey.
Yeah,
See?
Bay.
Hey.
Beijing.
So Jing is a city.
Yeah, capital city. Jing is like a central hub, like an axis point.
Uh-huh.
If you look at the character itself, it has a logical.
Like a chakra, right? A chakra.
Yeah.
Jing.
Kind of a cool thing. I'm glad that I ended up in this city. If I would have ended up in any other city, I probably wouldn't have as great of longevity as I do, or become, like they say that northern regions will make you a deeper thinker as well. Like the cold winter will freeze the chi in the brain, and it actually crystallizes your intelligence, and it makes you more kind of rugged, because you have to survive the cold. Whereas in southern climates, they'll be far more emotional, far more passionate, more creative, but they'll be less intellectual and less rugged.
Yeah. Less crystallized, like you say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the word for north or northern in Slavic is severo, right? Severe.
Okay.
I mean, I think that gives away something.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there's something to it. So what have you been up to these days? What's going on? How's everything hanging?
Not so much, man. I mean, the days are running by so fast. At the end of the days,
Yeah.
Age.
Getting dark early.
Yeah. And you know me. I've got a pretty easy lifestyle. I don't have much to do. I'm without any work or any obligations. So I just enjoy life pretty much.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good way to live. It's an enjoyable. I've experienced it from time to time, and for the most part, I do have a very leisurely existence at this point
You
in
do
my
too,
life.
right? Yeah. I
To
mean,
an extent, yeah.
usually when you appear on YouTube, you're there in your how do you call this?
Bathrobe.
Robe, right? The robe.
Oh.
I fucking love that look, dude. I fucking love the people that stream in a robe. That's
Well,
so.
yeah.
It
I
brings
only
a different vibe.
I only put on clothes if I go outside. And it's kind of a Chinese thing. Like my wife kind of introduced me to the idea. I would, growing up as an American, I'd come in the house fully clothed with my shoes on and stuff, and she wouldn't tolerate that shit. She's like, you get to the door, you take off those fucking dirty shoes, and then by the time you get to the bedroom, you take off all those clothes. They have outside energy, and then put on a robe, put on some pajamas or something. They're somehow more civilized even than I grew up.
It does make sense, right? I mean, the time that I just bought some new gear, right? Well, not just, but a couple of, I think a week ago, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wear this shit inside of my house, right? This is outside, I mean,
Right.
it's good stuff, and when I'm inside, I'm busy doing stuff, and I might do this. I might smear my hands to my pants, right? So yeah, I just want pants that are able to stand that, right, instead of my good
Yeah,
pants.
and they make a very clear distinction between certain things like indoor and outdoor clothing, indoor and outdoor footwear, and in cooking, they always use certain cutting boards and knives only for raw food, and then other cutting boards and knives only for cooked food, and the dishware too, like stainless steel for the raw meats and vegetables and stuff, and then crockery like earthenware for cooked foods. And it's something as a Westerner I wouldn't ordinarily distinguish between. If I used a knife to cut raw meat, I would just thoroughly wash it before I used it to cut cooked meat. You know what I mean? But they're like, nah, fuck all that. You don't use the same tools for different jobs.
Well, that's also has to do with the crystallization, right? That has to do with the crystals or the non-crystallization. Yeah, that's part of it. You can't wash it off, unless you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it's things that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of if I hadn't learned it from the Chinese culture. I mean, maybe it's in the Western culture, but it wasn't something that I had discovered early on.
Yeah, but you were raised in the ghetto, right? So.
Yeah, kind of. Fair enough, right?
I mean, there was a shot for open goal, dude. I had to take it.
Yeah, if you had a knife, you were lucky to cut anything, right? What are you talking about? You had meat? You got two knives for different meats? The fuck?
Yeah.
We all got money.
I mean, what did you get to cut? A bean? One of those
No.
beans,
Yeah, I didn't even have a knife. I had a spoon. Lucky if I had a fork. Right now.
But I actually learned to cook at a young age. My mom was always, just taking care of the family. So, cooking and cleaning it was just a natural thing to learn.
Yeah, it's an important life skill. You have to learn some basic cooking skills, basic organizational, finances. All of these things are super important. And it's not things that they actually focus on in school, School.
It's so weird, right? It's so weird. But I remember talking to my teachers in school, like, you're going to have to teach us about, having, knowing how to take care of money, right? How to make a balance in bookkeeping and everything. They were like, no. And I was like, yeah, but come on. I worry about these things. And they were like, no, that was a stupid question of me. And
Right.
but now,
They teach you to be
but now that
entirely reliant on the
now
system.
that I know more, I was like, man, that was actually a fucking good question of me back in the day, right?
Yeah, they want to teach kids to be entirely reliant on the system. You go out and you work 40, 50 hours a week, and then you spend all of your money on those things. You don't actually do them yourselves. So they're training people to be more institutionalized, more reliant on society, rather
Yeah.
than more independent from it. It's very overt, very clear. Just fill your head full of useless facts and a bunch of stupid opinion that doesn't fucking matter and will never serve you and will never have any impact on your life. See, here's where I differentiate from like 90% of what's going on these, podcast style vlogs that go on YouTube is these guys out there. You watch them, they spend 95% of their time talking about shit that will have zero impact on your life. It'll never affect you one way or the other. It seems very important, right? It's in the news. Trump's doing this, Trump's doing that. There's this or that going on between these or that people. But since day one, it's never affected you in any way. Your day-to-day has never changed for the most part. Right? And I just find it so odious and commonplace, right? Like we see in the quote down here below us, that no new horror can be more terrible than the daily torture of the commonplace.
Yeah.
It's like, why should we spend our time engaged in the commonplace? Oh God, what a drudgery.
I mean, that's how lucky I feel, being without a job, but still, getting around. I don't feel poor, I can go on a holiday. I get to spend money on the things that I like to spend it on. And I'm okay, man. It's not that I'd like to work, but I get into more trouble when I start getting busy. It's better like this. When I apply for a job, I'll be hired. And after a week they'll say, yeah, well, maybe you're just a bit too much for this company. It's just, I don't fit in that easy. But it's
any box, right?
Hmm?
You're a rebel, a revolutionary, a pioneer.
People used to love that. No, people used to love that. People used to love that because these people are good workers. I get around. If you employ me, I take care of business. But you gotta be true. You gotta be a good one. Otherwise, I just don't like to work for you too. That's these people know how the game is, right? And so they will see like after a week, like, that's not really my kind. But when I am your kind, it's gonna be golden.
Yeah, fair enough. When I'm not engaged in actively working, then I'll spend all of my time basically pursuing the arcane magical knowledge and reviewing and doing ritual, engaged in spell work and stuff like this. So I need the good balance, of the ordinary everyday life of, the 9 to 5 type of job, which is actually 8 to 5, but then we get an hour and a half for lunch. And I find that some of the interaction with the colleagues is some of the most enriching type things. The classroom activity, of teaching classes and stuff too, that's also kind of a refinement process. Like you have to do the research and the lesson prep and, look through what's currently being taught to the
and you're gonna have to
the
adjust
kids.
to each and every class,
Right.
individuals every year. That's
Yeah. Every year they update the knowledge.
yeah.
It typically doesn't go on.
Not even the knowledge, but the people.
Yeah. The people change every year.
Yeah, that's. How long does it take you to get used or to get to know the new students? Every year, does that take you a couple of days or a couple of months or a couple of
Well,
weeks?
yeah, I think you know me. I'm a pretty easygoing, open, amiable type guy. So within a couple of days, like I can build rapport with them. That's not a challenge for me. And then I realized like you don't want to build too much rapport either because they're going to be disappearing soon as well.
Mhm.
But then at the same time, you try to give them your best every time you're in there.
So
And
it's
it's
not,
like
it's not so much about knowing their name. It's more about getting the flow going. And
I use memory palace techniques so I can memorize their names all on day one, even if it's a class of 25 kids.
wow.
Yeah. That's one of the things I display to them is like memory magic. And so I'll learn their names by jumping around all over the classroom and asking questions. And then at the end of the class, it takes about an hour. And then by the end of the class, and I'll say, now let me see if I've got everyone. And I'll just look out and point and call each one of their names out. So that's kind of a trick I learned early on was like memory magic for names.
That works both ways, right? That works both ways.
Hmm.
Have their attention and you know their names.
Yeah, Hitler did that as well. I picked that up from Hitler.
I can see you do that. I mean,
He knew all of his officers' names. Reportedly Hitler knew like 20,000 officers by name.
by name, by first name and second name.
I don't know,
Dude,
but
that's a trick. That's a trick that this guy in the army also pulled on me.
yeah,
And this was just in an exercise, right?
Jack does it all the time. Hey, Voy, listen to me, Voy.
Yeah,
Right?
but he
You
doesn't
just-
know my first name and my last name, right? But this guy in the army, he'd been in the Lebanon, and I think he also been in Israel.
Right.
I think and so this guy, he wasn't a fake sergeant or anything. He just, he had been around. And when things got a bit serious, all of a sudden he knew my first name, right? Hey, Seth, come. And I was, dude. And I knew, and that was a trick, dude. But
It
I
is.
also saw this guy, walking into a barbed wire. He walked into barbed wire. I was walking next to him. He walked into barbed wire, and I saw him swallowing his own scream because I saw what happened, right? And he wanted to scream, but he had this. How do you call this? He trained himself not to scream because he'd been in the real war, right? So if you make a noise,
Sure.
you're gone, right? And that was the moment. That was the moment I was like, "Wow, that's a real man there." That's a
Sure,
real
sure.
man there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a brainwashing tactic too, right? Like NLP style management. And the other thing is the more you repeat it, the more likely you are to remember it. So, Voy, like if I periodically continue to call your name, then I'm far more like, and those details too, right? Like to bring the details to mind actively. I think the principle, if I remember correct, is active recall. Like you actively engage in recalling those details over and over and then digging more into them, asking more about them. So how about this guy that ran into the barbed wire? Do you remember his name?
Dude, that's a good question. I might remember his name.
Yeah, so I'm using the technique to re-encode the story so that I can deeper associate it with you, Voy. Set, he called you, right? Hey, Set. And you remembered your first name, and especially in a moment of crisis, he called it. In the military, they typically use your last name, right?
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why in the moment of crisis, he called my name. I'm like, come on, Seth.
Yeah, and you mentioned that.
He pulled that trick on me twice.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a thing. I think
the second time he pulled that on me, the gates of the whole caserne, how do you call that, of the whole compound, were closing because I was escaping. And he said, don't escape because, you're going to be shot at. I said, oh, no, dude, I'm going to escape. What was his fucking name, dude?
it's worthwhile, and to some extent, I've always felt that our name given to us by our parents, like our given name, has an energetic effect on how we develop in our lives, right?
How we perceive and are perceived.
Yeah, how we perceive and are perceived. Like Michaels are certain types of people, Voy, an unusual name to me, is, it's going to be codified as a certain type of person. And in the co-creative process, we will project upon those types of people that we feel are certain ways, Adams or Davids or Tomas, these type of
The
people.
thing, I didn't choose my name, Voy. It kind of happened on me, and people started calling me Voy because I was talking about the Voynich manuscript a lot. And so I named myself Voynich, and then Voy came out of that. And then I reviewed that, and it's like the opposite of set, right? Or set, because it's the S, it's a very definitive letter, right? And the T too is even more definitive, right? The tough. And the V and the O and the Y aren't. And so I love the change of name. It's like totally opposite of it.
Yeah, there's definitely some word magic going on there.
Yeah.
Something to be said for it, for sure. You know that I had recently, I was listening to a lecture, and they said that it was a lecture, I believe it was Religion for Breakfast is the name of the channel here on YouTube. But I had heard about his channel originally from Dr. Justin Sledge, who runs a channel called Esoterica, and he does research into religion, magic, and the arcane. But he had mentioned that lots of Greek artwork after the time of Christ, like we're talking in maybe the 3rd, 4th, 5th century AD, had portrayed Christ holding a magic wand of some kind. And so he did a study into whether the magic wand at that time was an accoutrement of magicians. And Christ had actually been accused of doing goetic magic, so like Solomonic magic, summoning and casting out demons. And I saw a passage in Matthew where Christ commands his followers to cast out demons, control demons, heal the sick, and raise the dead. And I've been pursuing this a little bit because that's necromancy. Number one, goetic magic, controlling demons, is Solomonic, right? It's a part of Solomon's tradition. Then healing by laying of hands, this is an energetic type of like key, manifestation of your natural healing energy. And then the last one, raising the dead, that's necromancy. And so I've always been of the mind that Jesus was a magician and a magical practitioner. And when I present this type of idea to mainstream modern day Christians, they vilify the idea. Like, so few people who claim to be Christian or claim to follow Jesus are actually interested in what he was really up to. Walking on water, multiplying foods, and doing magic. It's like every miracle was a form of magic. They call them miracles now, right? And they say, well, that was Jesus. But Jesus directly said, you can do greater acts than I have.
But magic is not necessarily magic, right?
But he was accused of magic, and he didn't
but
deny
it might be. Magic is usually just a technique.
Right.
That the people experiencing the magic are not acquainted with the technique of the instant transformation.
Well, you're examining that from the skeptical mind.
Definition of magic, right?
Yeah, but to some extent, you're examining that from the skeptical mind, right? Like, he could part the veil and pull things out of other dimensions. This is apportation. I'm not talking about like wishy-washy horseshit about mind tricks. This was real magic, and it's recorded, historical record.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily a magic trick. That might be just a technique. That is a technique. Like magic is also technique. It's a lot of technique. Well, there's also some dark magic, dark powers. Do you have so again, like,
when I start to, and here you might be displaying it to some extent, but when I start to talk about spirit, people deviate away from spirit and try to bring it back to the material. So as a direct question to you, Voy, like, how do you perceive the realms beyond, and do you have faith that there is something beyond just the absolutely material? Or like at death, what do you think happens? Do you just disappear, or do you think there is a spirit realm?
No, I don't think, I don't believe, I know there is a spirit realm.
Okay, and I would ask you to elaborate for just a moment, because I'm going to step away for 30 to 40 seconds. I'll be right back if that's okay. Okay, try to elaborate that point.
So I will not take a stopwatch to clock you, but of course there is a spirit realm. We're constantly interacting with it, aren't we? So yeah, that's not even a question, to be honest.
All right, sorry, I could still hear you. I had my earphone in, but I couldn't.
At least we got some viewers now.
Yeah, it's good magic.
We get 5 viewers? What? Nah.
Yeah, so we were talking about green tea earlier with Rose. Yeah. So I want to pursue this a little more, and I think I want to continue into this idea into the panel verse and try to push it a little bit harder, because I've met with a lot of resistance, and even people who consider themselves to be religious or spiritual, as soon as I start weaving into this thread of, but where's your faith in God? Where's your faith in spirit, in what you say and do, and the way you present yourself? These individuals, many of them, I'm not isolating any given individual, but many of them are absolutely without faith in God and absolutely without knowledge of the spirit realm. And they deny it in the way they speak, act, and present themselves. And this seems very overt to me. And I think I can tease this out in a very subtle way, and then present a line of inquiry and a line of claims and logical connections and accusations that will make this very, very clear to anyone listening that that's what's being done. And I think it'll just be a fun social experiment to get involved in, because I have so much knowledge about these things and direct experiential evidence, and know them to be real. And many would start to claim, okay, that's hallucination, Frank, right? They've said this before. They've said, okay, if you've seen a spirit, or you've seen ghosts, or you've engaged in magic that has brought about a certain result, then it's either superstition or hallucination. And many of these folks that are claiming faith in God or some capacity for bringing forward revelation or transformation don't have any experience. And so it's a little bit curious to me, because I received some pushback recently. I had engaged in a conversation with a certain individual, and it became clear to me, like at face level, that they had no faith in spirit or faith in God, for that matter.
How was that? Why was that? What made you?
I won't get into like the details or the nitty gritty of it. I'm going to keep working on that nut, try to crack that nut a little bit better. But I'll tell you that I'm a very empathetic, like I'm a bit of an empath and a psychic as well. And I've spent a lot of time watching people closely, and like the tells are just there. It's like we're playing poker. You don't have much of a poker face. And when it comes to the poker of the spirit, right? Jesus was a magician. He was a practitioner of Solomonic magic, and he brought forth miracles based on invocation of subtle frequencies, and he could part the Euclidean spaces and reveal non-Euclidean spaces, and saw and dealt with demons directly. This is something we can do, and in modern times they're perceiving them as possible alien abductions and aliens and this type of thing, right? This is going on right now, but there are many of a mind that these are not real things, and because they cannot perceive them, and so within their range of the color spectrum, because these things are hidden to them, because they haven't developed the ability to see beyond,
They're colorblind, so to say.
yeah, colorblind, tone deaf,
Yeah.
colorblind and tone deaf.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd like to talk about it more like outright, but I don't want to like polish anybody else's shoes. I just kind of want to develop this idea with a central theme and see how far it goes, because it'll be an interesting thing. It's the one angle that I have enough expertise to be how would I word this, like a definitive master, because I listen to a lot of PhDs. I've worked at the PhD level, and I've been engaged in this for a long time, and most of these people, I would say 90% of them, will admit that they have no spiritual experience whatever. They've never encountered the paranormal. And I could mention a dozen different types of encoding of how those things work out, like time dilation, high strangeness, UFOs, portals, orbs, any of that. And as a result, everything's speculation on their part.
Yeah.
Whereas all of those things...
Not even speculation, it's fantasy, rather.
Yeah, it's fantasy and hearsay.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, all of those things I have direct experience with. And so why would you trust a person who hasn't seen beyond the veil and hasn't experienced death 3 times in my case, and come back and then communicated with the dead and raised the dead, as it were, not back into living bodies, but raised them from the realm of death back into the realm of living, at least in my mind and in dreamland? Why would you take their fucking suggestions when you got a guy who's done it, that's been successful, right? They speculate, they give you hearsay. And how did you say it was? I said speculation and you said fantasy.
Fantasy.
Right? Yeah. Why would their opinion or suggestions even matter when you're getting into realms that are quite serious, in fact, and could in fact cause madness.
The fantasy that these people portray is shinier and brighter than the thing that you experienced. That's all it is. And then
right.
They get more promotion, they get more propaganda.
Yeah, and there's other things too. There's key subtle tales that they drop that immediately should throw up all kinds of fucking red flags. And I'll start pointing those out more and more too. I won't do them in conversation format though. I'll do them more in monologue, and I'll prepare some PPTs and stuff like that. I've got a couple of documents I've been working on behind the scenes. But I want to start revealing a little more here on YouTube. I don't do a lot, honestly. You know that I occasionally appear on panels and sometimes I stream. But for the most part, I keep my work silent and quiet and behind the scenes. But it interests me. It makes it, it seems to be like a line of inquiry that could motivate me enough to be inspired to engage with some of these people.
You seem
Because
to
I've
have,
seen. Go ahead.
You seem to have like a. You like Jack Talcott. You like what he's doing, and I don't get that. I mean, you are protecting Jack at almost all costs, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing there? How does that work, Frank?
Well, it's my only connection to the Panelverse at this point. It's the only panel show that I go on, and so Yeah.
Okay, that's a legit answer because I was like, man. I mean, Jack Jack has spoken most emptiest words.
Well, and he'd seldom give you a reach around unless you're there, right? Like you ever hear the
I
expression?
don't even know what that means. That's
You're
a porn reference. I don't get it.
well, you're the.
I get it, but I don't know what it means in the Penalverse.
Well, I'll break it down. They say that you're the type of guy that would fuck a guy up the ass and not even have the decency to give him a reach around. All right.
See, I still don't get it. But no, we're talking about Jack Talcott and how he does.
Well, no, like I've actively spent time promoting some of these people, like not with them here, but like on my own, right? Like making clips and talking about them in a good way or whatever, and then directing people towards them. Whereas I've never received that as a reach around. Nobody's ever reached around and jerked off Frank Monday one time, except for one other creator, Dweller of the Dark, the guy I play his music here on my channel. He's mentioned me at least a dozen times in his videos and he's made dedicated videos to me and stuff. And he's always had a kind word for me.
That is your alter ego, right?
Yeah, which is rare. That's really, really rare.
That's your alter ego. Yeah.
You figured me out, huh? Yeah, very few people do that. Whereas whenever I'm listening to these guys, whenever a subject's brought up, they'll name drop half a dozen people that they obviously support and are in bed with, but I'll never hear my name. Never. Unless I'm there, unless I'm on the panel.
Frank, do you feel left out of the Penalverse?
A little bit. If I'm not on the panel or I'm not in the chat, then I would never be brought to mind, which is okay. That's fine. That means I'm doing good work.
You still want to be famous at your age? You still want to be?
No. It's not what I'm interested in.
Dude,
it's fame to some extent.
You're already in front of classes and you're teaching children. I mean, you are famous already. I mean, you're a well-known person.
I've got TV shows here in China that 700 million people have seen. So yeah, that's not the thing. The thing is influence to some extent. I think I need to level up, not debate. I don't enjoy debate. That's not what I'm interested in, but inquiry and conversation. That's something I'm deeply interested in. But most of these people don't know how to have a conversation, boy.
That was my reaction to it. Like, well, inquiry.
They don't. They have no fucking idea. They can't handle feedback. They don't know how to respond to it. They have ulterior motives and hidden agendas, and they don't know how to converse with other human beings.
And if
they're losers. They're absolute fucking losers.
They will team up and they will bite you until you don't itch anymore. You know, that's
right. That's right.
Their tactic. It's like, I mean, you're in China, you know how it works. Like,
yeah, well, I'm not going to do that on my China platform. My China platform's a whole different thing. Like the shit I drop over here gets 70,000 views for every single short. Whereas like the Western stuff, the reason I'm building a YouTube presence is because I do plan to return to the United States eventually. That is my home. That is my birthplace. I'm just a visitor over here. Yeah, no, Tennessee, man. I got land in Tennessee. I'm going to retire and grow melons and gourds and practice Kung Fu every day at some point. I've got land and a house.
You're such a fucking romantic, Frank Monday.
Yeah, I'm going to live by the river and go fishing.
Pumpkins and
that's right.
Aikido.
That's right.
Wow.
Do my fucking Tai Chi out in the woods. Absolutely, man. This isn't, I'm playing the long game. This is just a start. This is just me sticking my toe in the water at this point. Showing what a magical persona looks like. Ricardo Sunshine's here. Good to see you, amigo. I hope you're doing well. He says, good to see you both. He says he likes Talcott. Yeah, I do too. There are many. Jack Talcott, I've recommended his channel more than once. I even have a specific banner just for him, right? He has certain virtues, but he has certain poisonous aspects too that are very noxious among some of the most noxious.
So I never heard the word noxious. I've heard obnoxious, but not noxious. Like, what the fuck is
he's
noxious?
like he has the virtues of poisonous
it's
hemlock.
Obnoxious and noxious is basically the same thing, right?
Well, noxious means poisonous to the point where it will make you nauseous, right?
And so,
Yeah,
it's
so-
obnoxious.
Obnoxious would it would be more of a character type trait that annoys you, whereas noxious, it can be something that's injurious. And
Okay.
so his negative traits to some extent can be more injurious than just annoying. I think that
Yeah.
to some extent, I think in some ways he's doing real harm
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because
Yeah, I get it.
and I would elaborate more on it, but unless he was here and you could see it play out, like when I start to engage in the question of spirit, then it wouldn't be obvious to you. Maybe I think it's probably obvious to you, but
Play it. So I
Yeah,
can roll up and light up.
yeah, I don't know. It's inchoate and incipient at this point, like it's in development.
No.
And so-
Don't use two difficult words in one sentence. Don't do that. Intrepid
Yeah.
and conviviate. What?
Incipient, inchoate, like still in the seed phase, like. And again, it's many. In fact, probably most of what I've encountered, there is a serious wanting for actual spiritual knowledge or spiritual understanding codified within religious studies or religious experiences where they're really missing the mark somehow. And I can see it with absolute clarity when it plays out. And that's the thing. I want to be able to not only see it for myself, but to engage it at an intellectual level where it will become obvious to everyone else that's watching. And that's where I need to practice, because I've already been engaged with it quite a bit. And like I said, though it's completely obvious to me, I fail in my interrogation or inquiry or interaction so that it becomes overt to everyone, and then it's something examinable, and then it can progress, right? Because obviously, if you don't get the right feedback, then you can't make any progress. And obviously, I have my own failings as well. But within this field, I don't know that anyone has more mastery or power than I do. I haven't found a single other person on YouTube that has been able to utilize magic, the systems that I learned, the Western mystery tradition, to the effect that I've been able to achieve with real results. And so I think that's something. That's
So
a
you
niche.
feel you need to get more recognition.
No, I need to expose the charlatans.
Okay.
I need to expose charlatans that claim to have faith in God and have spirit with no spiritual discernment and no spiritual powers. Because that's demonic possession and it's deception and it's the work of the devil. That's what I think is important. Doesn't matter me. I don't even fucking matter. I'm just a vehicle for the transmission of the Inquisition. So yeah, a modern day witch trials, but with the magician proving that those claiming to have faith in God and spiritual attainment to in fact be atheistic, materialistic deceivers with no faith in spirit and no truth in their dissertation. I think that's what it is. The hammer of the witches.
Wow, you're not speaking
Yeah.
Latin here, Frank.
I think the best inquisitioners were in fact powerful magicians. I don't know. What do you think about it? It's just an idea. It's a proposal.
I think they were just violent, very violent.
It's something I've been contemplating for a while because it's so overt.
I think
Right.
you have a complete inverted romantic idea of this whole thing. I think.
Oh, no. Okay,
Yeah.
then tell me why. Tell me why you
Well,
think.
because the Spanish Inquisition was known for their merciless.
Oh yeah. No, I was using
right?
that was satire. That was satire. That wasn't my
So,
intent
The
by saying
people
that.
that were exterminated were most likely
Housewives, little old ladies, widowers.
I didn't want to go there, but pacifistic. No, not peaceful people.
Right.
People, right?
No, yeah. I was using that as an extreme example. Yeah, that's not what I meant by it. But what about
you're such a romantic dude.
What about the idea itself, though? Right? We can not we, maybe I, and you could probably help in this. You're a very intelligent and spiritual person. It's obvious to me that you have faith in spirit and have had experiences. But my idea is this: that by a sincere line of inquiry to reveal the fact that there are breaks in their chains and holes in their story, and that they don't genuinely have the faith in God that they profess to have.
Who are we talking about again?
All of them. There are lots of them. There are lots of them that are,
Oh yes. Oh, we don't even need inquiry. We just need to hang them.
well, yeah, there are a lot of people out there that are professing this spiritual guru type of current
They don't deserve.
just because they think that it draws
they don't
attention.
deserve justice. They just
Right.
They just deserve
For
one
example,
of the highest branches on one of the biggest trees. And
Tucker
so-
Carlson, you're familiar with him, right? He's one of the biggest news type guys on the internet, right? He brought a guy on his show the other day that had zero arcane knowledge and zero training and initiation into secret societies. And this guy pontificated for 2 fucking hours. And Tucker Carlson obviously has
And
zero.
you're still annoyed about this, right? Because
Yeah.
you're thinking you should have been there, right? Frank
Oh.
Monday should have been there.
Absolutely. I'm better looking than the guy. I'm more trained in it. I've been in China for 30 fucking years. I understand these systems in and out like the back of my goddamn hand.
I hear
And
you.
I would have had better conspiracies to siphon off and even like entertaining fantasies that people want to indulge in. I would have been far more articulate at expressing that than this asshat. This fucking absolute asshat that he had
I'm
on
going
his
to say
fucking
this
show.
on the next stream again. You're such a romantic.
But I'm serious, man. I could have easily
That's
fucking.
why I say you're such a romantic. That's why
I
I
could have
like you
put-
so much.
I could have put this guy under the rug, no problem. And I would have gone the full nines, I would have put on my fucking tiny hat and my apron and got up in a full Chinese robe and shit, and had a skull behind me and commanded spirits from beyond to tickle fucking Tucker Carlson's ass. But that's not what I'm aspiring to. But it's the line of research, paranormal research, that we need. Not people that haven't spent any time actually doing it, right? That have peripheral knowledge, like you said, about fantasy, right? And speculation and hearsay. But people that have actually gone in and done the work and derived results and beneficial results. I'm not talking about negative things.
You're talking about Tucker Carlson here. He's one of the guys that is one of the guys that you're talking about. He did that work, He wasn't.
What do you think is more likely? Frank Monday talking to Tucker Carlson or Jack Talcott talking to Donald Trump? I mean, I'm not shooting for the stars here.
Not the latter, the first.
I'm not shooting for the stars here, right?
no. That's, I mean,
Tucker ain't shit. He ain't that fucking well educated.
No, but
if certain words, he doesn't even know what they mean.
Jack Talcott.
I mean, come
got
on.
to speak with Don Lemon.
Yeah, and these guys always need
with Donald Lemon. With Donald
and Don Lemon
Trump.
and
If you try
Don
really
Lemon
hard-
talks to who?
If you try really hard, it sounds like Donald Trump. Donald Lemon.
I've been interviewed. I'm not going to name drop but newscasters that talk to 700 million people again, but that's a Chinese audience, so it's something entirely different.
But I mean, Don Lemon is a gay guy. I mean, I think Donald Trump might be too. But then again, it's just.
Well, that's irrelevant to me. Like Trump, if I wanted to talk to Trump, I think it would be a little easier for me because I'm a little more directly connected with people that actually matter. But I don't. If I wanted to.
Dude, if I wanted to talk to Trump, that would be fucking impossible.
Would it?
Like, no, dude, that's not
that
ever
hard.
going to happen. And all the guys above are going to say, no. Not boy and Trump. No. That's going to be World War V, if that happens.
Yeah. So my big question is this then, in exploring this idea with you, like what would be the next step? Like tickle me. I'm okay, yeah, good. TML's here in the house. Good to see you, man. Fucking good magic, good looking out. Yeah. I'd send a demon to fucking tickle Tucker Carlson's bunghole. Real shit, man. Like, so like, how do we encode it though? Because and TML knows this well. He's presented the entire idea of technique taking over, right? And people becoming slaves and servants of the machine. But I'm trying to break us free from that as well. And so my angle would be that through a carefully articulated line of inquiry that we unravel in real time in front of the world and everyone, each and every one of these individuals who claims these ideas, but has no genuine sincerity or faith in the reality of the thing. And it's so fucking overt. Like it infuriates me when I see it because they're displaying all of the tendencies of absolute disbelief in God and no faith in spirit. And I have to sit back and hold my tongue and not go in that direction because, like the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they get very angry when you start to expose them, and you're going to wind up getting the lash and the crucifixion and all of that. And my main angle is Jesus was a magician, just like Moses before him, just like King Solomon.
Let's get back to the machines because we're riling up to the point where it's going to be impossible to have a life without the machines, right? That we are currently entertaining, right? Using to be in touch with each other.
Yeah, we could break
the
free.
The moment that we're going to have to say goodbye to this is upon us. It is upon us. It is within a couple of years. It is in the foreseeable future. You're either going to be, slightly connected to the machines, completely connected to the machines, or not connected to the machines. That's going to be the foreseeable future.
Well, nothing new under the sun. You're just.
Do you think that's an extreme statement?
No. Time, what you just said, time is a settling of the water and the mud so that it's revealed. You already are. If that is what it is, right? King Solomon said this. There's nothing new under the sun. And so these things that you're predicting are already, in fact, apparent. But it's your movement through time that's revealing them to you.
Fuck, dude. So it's going to happen in my life. So I'm just going to.
No, it's already happened. You're already involved in it.
There's going to be a moment where we're not going to connect on the internet anymore.
Yeah, you're already interacting with it in real time all the time. And so that's not something we need to worry about. What we need to bring forth, in my opinion, and what I'm working towards here, is the revelation of spirit and the living word. We needn't rely on the doctrine and the dogma any longer. We need to break free and find those individuals in our communities that are actually engaged in the research of breaking through these dimensions and breaking into the kingdom of heaven. Even in the Bible, it's recommended that you do that. Better a thief slip in through the window than to beg at the door, right? We have to get in there, and you have to seek and receive counsel with celestial beings, and then come back to spread the word. Otherwise, you're not a prophet. You're not a genuine.
You gotta explain it to me. You gotta take me back to the thief in the window and the door and the sneaking and the break. I didn't catch that one.
Yeah. Again, that's doctrine and the dogma. My idea is that we engage in real time. Okay, so who's someone that indicated that's what they were up to recently? This doctor guy who became CE5. He looks like a slee stack. He's an alien guy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, the guy who became a mayor? Or
no, he did Close Encounter 5. Not that guy. A more recent guy.
He was like talking about it, like I'm the mayor now.
He was an EMT and an emergency medical technician.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll think of his name here in a minute. It won't matter because spirit will bring it to me, and mind and memory and consciousness will bring it back to me because it's there. I know. I know his name. Let's have a look at what TML is saying here, though. TML says, is nature revealing or hiding? Is technology unveiling or concealing? Yeah, it seems to be doing both. And I would say, in reference to TML, in the beginning, when we were young, at the start of our life universe, it was concealing. And as we move forward into it, right, it starts to be unveiling it. And here's the next question he comes up with. Who creates, and what conceals further? Yeah. And we should continue to create and co-create. And certain things absolutely must be concealed from a majority of the public is not ready for any type of revelation. And when they're ready for the revelation, the teacher will appear, right? And the next one here. We have words and thoughts have imaginations and creations embedded within. Yeah, so this is the basic document that I came up with right after I spoke to Sophia Daisy May, was the summoning of subtle spiritual servitors, right? SSSS, summoning subtle spiritual servitors. And people are talking about, using AI for this, that, or the other thing, and these large language models to do work and replace humanity. But we've already had access to Jinn or Genie since the time of the Baghdad battery, right? We're talking 5,000 years ago. And so those antiquitech technologies that, what was King Solomon doing? He had an obsidian dark mirror and Baghdad batteries hooked up to it in a circle of summoning, and said that he could see across all of the realm and could summon things through it. So not only did he have a portal with which he could iPad view the entire kingdom, he could pull things out of it. And so we're getting closer to those dimensional portal rifts where we can apport through the triangle.
Very much like we can do in our day and age with Google Maps.
To material, yeah. We can do it on the visual level, but we're not to the point where we can dimension shift, reach in, and bring forth things. They're trying to do this with CERN, but I think they're headed in the wrong direction.
But still,
I think it needs to be the power of spirit that is the key missing element. And if you don't have it, you're just an NPC. And if you're an NPC, then you're not a part of the real game, right? TML goes on, he says, nature abhors a vacuum, yet nature hides her gifts. Yeah, so we create the vacuum and then allow the paucism to fill it. And TML is probably one of the best
content creators in this fringe community that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, not only that, but one of the best allies for me checking this information against and pursuing this line of inquiry. I think that I myself would be the best inquisitor to some extent. I think I have the charisma and animal magnetism and the experience of spirit.
The best white inquisitor, you know. Or,
oh yeah,
the thing I don't like.
He's
about
the most
TML,
knowledgeable. He's the best all around.
I don't
right?
like about TML is that he's from Pakistan and that he's a fucking, you know,
he's the mad Arab Abdul Hazrad who pinned the Necronomicon in the blood of multi-dimensional beings.
You know, I must admit.
No, yeah, he's up there in the invisible college. He's a leader among men. Absolutely. I've even crafted an advertisement for his channel. And like I was saying again, you know, the type of guy that would fuck you up the ass, but not even give you a common courtesy reach around, right? Like, but you have to rise to that level. You know, numbers are important.
Stop using those fucking flow state porn references, dude. I mean,
yeah, no. That's not a flow state. I'm far more old school than flow state. He's a kid compared to me. Was that guy 35? He ain't shit. I look better than him, and I'm 54. So yeah.
Okay.
He can suck. He can suck a fucking
the machine.
Dick. Yeah, here it is. Here
on the machine that lies.
This is OG fucking TML right here, baby.
Basically, you know, on the stream, The Machine Lies, we're taking a very critical look at technology. So the reason we're doing that is because we're looking at the medium that is used to communicate, right, and transmit information, right? We don't think that any form of mediation is neutral, right, but it's laden with values. And so I think that the well has been polluted by technology. So obviously we take a critical look at technology, right? Okay, we're looking at different concepts in relation to technology, right? In terms of philosophy, right? And in terms of religion. Now, that is one of the main purposes of the show, is that we really look at where technology and religion, science, and spirituality, where those things intersect, right? Because there's a crisis of the modern world in which there's a majority of the modern world is religious people. Their mindset is secular, and the means they employ are secular. We're living in a post-liberal, post-human, post-geological age, right? So we're talking about the death of liberalism, the rise of the world technological system. Now, we do think that, okay, there's a considerable level of, you know, externalization of the ego, okay, and mediation of ourselves through the means we employ. So obviously, you know, we shape tools, but the tools we use shape us, right? So that's one of the main things we're trying to get across on the show, is how technology changes human psychology. If you question the means you employ and what the objective factors of power are in our age, right, then that's the most important question you can ask. Right, that's the most critical stance you could actually take, right? Like, most people don't question, you know, how or what means they use to question, to ask the question itself, right? So we're actually taking a critical look at technology, right, as a primary form of communication, as an objective factor of power in our age, right? And we think that basically we're assuming that a lot of the stuff that we see through this medium is totally made up, right, fabricated, and that is based on the fact that it is artifice. It's produced by a machine, right? So we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. So
on the machine that lies. It's so good, man. So good. I really like that a lot. And that's good magic, man. That's what it's all about right there. Yeah. You know, it's TML, Machine Lies, 9534. Right there's the address. You guys make sure you fucking check it out. So I think that could be my alternate angle to his angle, right? Like, he's asking about the means of communication and a direct look at the technology. I can have a direct look at the spirit, right? And I mean, essentially, that's what he's doing by doing that, right? He is exposing that idea. But I think that to some extent, I can crown myself a grand wizard of the esoteric order of Dagon, self-appointed, and then seek deeper inquiry into these so-called faith healers and gurus and other folks, and cut through the Gordian knot of their deception that what they're bringing about is not faith in spirit. It's not a return to the way of Christ, because Christ was a magician and he was empowered by God to cast demons out. And within his order, as a disciple of the Christos and Jesus, then I should be able to cast out demons and raise the dead. And if I cannot, then I'm not a faithful follower. And so I think I can do that. I think I can bring that magic about. I got a couple of dead I need to raise up, though, in the meantime. That's one thing I haven't done yet. I've encountered dead, and I live among the dead. And maybe the dead that I've risen back up 3 times now, because I've been medically dead 3 times in my lifetime. First time by alcohol poisoning when I was like 13. Another time in a car accident. And then the most recent was, I'm not going to talk about it, but I've risen from the dead 3 times. Christ only did it once.
Yeah, well.
So that's a fucking thing. Medical technology helped me every time, though.
So
maybe
you're not the Antichrist. You're the triple Christ. Triple Christ.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I'm Christ thrice great somehow.
Christus. Tres
And that's a revelation I just had with you just now.
Okay.
And so I do feel compelled.
So that's you, huh? So that's you. Christus.
This feels like an exciting angle for me. This feels like an angle that might actually work because I can see the difference. It's overt to me, like people who actually possess spirit and cultivate spirit and know spirit, as opposed to those who are just giving lip service to it. These are very different things. And I think my spiritual discernment can guide me in the correct lines of behavior and performance and inquiry that will bring about greater change in this space.
You know how they would say it in Scotland, right? They would say, Frankie 3-pointer. Frankie.
Yeah, and TML mentions it. Yeah. Twilight is definitely a powerful sorcerer. Well, I'm a magician, though. He's definitely a sorcerer. There's a big difference there. I'm a ceremonial magician, first and foremost. Hyperborean, I know a little about, and Avian has the Buddhist angle a little more, whereas mine is more overtly Western mystery tradition, Hermetic science, and Tao. So I think that my angle must include the Taoist direct perception with spiritual gifts that I've awakened through the practice of Tao, and the breaking through of the Hinduistic ideas, which I think are garbage. And I'm not saying that they're garbage, but I'm saying that they're not as relevant to the Western mystery tradition. And the suffering and everything being illusion and Maya, this doesn't jive with what I'm talking about. Neither does the Gnosticism. So, and it's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to disprove their doctrines and dogmas, but I'm looking to see whether or not they actually have faith or spirit, or faith in spirit, or spiritual attainment. That's right. That was Zen.
Hey.
This is Tao.
How are you
I think it'd be fun. It's a challenge, right? It's the 100-day challenge.
Do you know
Expose
do you know
as many charlatans as I can.
Do you know the Caravan song?
Do I know which song?
My Caravan.
No. Tell me about it. Sing it for me. Can you sing it?
No, I'm gonna play it.
Okay. It's not going to get me a copyright strike, is it?
No, I'm sure.
Okay.
Give me a second. Yes.
Sing that shit.
No, dude.
Yeah, TML knows what's up.
You should see my Caravan. It's a belter. No, it's okay. You can share it.
Yeah, so this is my angle. It's a very simple threefold angle, right? It's Volantia, the wizard's will, the magical intent, and then the decreic moment, right? And not like Crowley. Crowley would say that you need to fucking shoot one off, right? And then it's the moment of ejaculation when you cast your spell. I disagree emphatically. In the Taoist perception, you can have the internal orgasm, but you must not release the Jing Qi, because it's the cultivation of the Jing Qi up the path of the Christos, right? The 33 vertebrae of the spine and into the celestial palace, where it invigorates and enlightens the mind. And then the seed, the thought seed, comes out of the third eye and is ejected into the receptive nature of the universe, where it's inseminated. And then by virtue of panspermia, right? Panspermia, it comes back to you fully grown. And so the summoning of subtle spiritual servitors is birthing from the fecundity and fruition of the mind, which TML does all the time, right? This is the type of magic that he's engaged in. And then the paucism factor is that receptive process of waiting open-handed for the bird to fucking land on your hand. Have you ever summoned a bird through your Tai Chi to land on your head or land on your hand?
Dude,
No,
I
you
was
haven't.
trying to play a song while trying to take a piss, and now I'm listening
Before
to
you
your
go
fucking
there,
words.
I'm talking to you about spiritual achievements. I've calmed birds in the park where I can walk up and pet them. I've had birds come and land on my head because of the chi accumulating at the Bai Hui.
You can only do that stuff in China, dude. You can't.
No, I did it in California before I ever came over here, man.
Oh,
I'm just saying, those are the types of things that are real high-level achievements in the system of Tao. And like, how many of you can bold-facedly say that with complete honesty and sincerity that you've done those things, that birds have hit your fucking head as you're doing your Tai Chi?
I need to clean the people's palate, and you need to allow my
Okay, go ahead.
allow my screen share.
Let's clear the palette. How do I do that? I don't even see that. Where's that at?
Allow it.
Oh, okay, I see it. I'll bring it up.
Yeah, okay. So, to clean the palate, people, here we go.
You should see my caravan. It's a belter. Extend your
hear it?
me an elter skelter. Look at my caravan. You should see my caravan. They have an verse. Please tell me. You should see my caravan. I park it down the glen. It's on TripAdvisor. It's going to 10 into 10. Oh, my caravan. Oh, my caravan.
Dat feels
Is that you?
Come down to my caravan, 'cause we're ordering pizza. 'Cause we ain't got fuck all in the freezer. Have my caravan. Oh, good, have my caravan. Get up on the street, get up on the street. Get away from me, bro.
I can hear you.
Walk like this, and they talk like this. And Uncle Patrick, race that. And they walk like this, and they talk like this. And Uncle Patrick, he's an upper, he's now got something. Oh, well done. And then the caravan, they're going for a travel. Somebody fucking phone Jimmy Savile down to the caravan. Don't forget Jimmy.
Big Jimmy!
Do that, my caravan, mummy, that's where you're going.
We have veel slecht in use, man. I know yourself.
I'm doing the caravan. No, I'm getting embarrassed, 'cause I'm out the back and I'm cutting carrots with Rolls fucking Harris. Don't forget, Mo. Oh, Mo, come on, get one there first. I'm doing at the caravan or the city, I'm relaxing. I'm watching the fucking telly with Michael Jackson and Jeremy Paxman. Don't forget Jeremy. I'll never forget Jeremy. He's a chorus of a shop. And they walk like this, and they talk like this, and Uncle Patrick. Try again.
I like it, bring it back.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. I like that a lot. Was that you? Were you there? Is that what was going on there? Was that you, Voy?
No, that's not me. But I mean, you know how we used to have fun, you know, making music. Singing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good magic.
Like,
good magic.
I mean, I mean, you recognize that too, right? That's
No, I don't. I don't know that song at all. No,
no,
not at
and
all.
not the song, but the vibe, right? I mean, like you said, is that you, boy? It's like, yeah, that's how we used to make music back in the day. Right?
Yeah, I thought I heard you in the background.
No, it's not me.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a thing, boy. I think it's a thing. And I want to go forward with it in some way. I haven't figured it all out yet. This is the first time I've proposed the idea. But I believe that there's an angle here. And I think I can work it. And I don't think it's my own idea. I think it was brought to me over the Halloween ritual abulations and obsequies that I was doing.
Frank?
I think a spirit brought me this idea. A spirit came forward and said, hey, these motherfuckers that are lying about spirit, you need to prove spirit to them somehow. And I've done it before. I could tell you so many fucking stories. And I think that it's my essential life mission to bring forward, to break the matrix. I am the one, Neo, right? Somehow.
So do you think it's a good way to get to the stage as Jack Talcott's second priest, Jack Talcott being the first priest, and you be
no, guys, we're not talking about low level players like that. We're talking about like big demigod type level stuff, like redirecting tornadoes and hurricanes and summoning lightning and raising the dead. We're talking about real life stuff that bridges the paranormal and brings it into reality so that these people can wake up. We're not going to petition fucking transients like Trump. No. I got no time for those kind of fucking bootlickers, man. I'm talking about real big deal stuff here. Like TML and the Voyage manuscript, the guy who decoded it, the guy who works daily towards the revelation of the truth, and a man who is truly empowered with sincerity and spirit and genuineness. Yeah. We're talking about fucking cracking the earth and bringing forward the elder gods, man. The next coming, as it were.
I never claimed
Trice Christen
I never
Christos.
claimed that, but I did. In my world, I did.
Yeah, it's going to be good magic, man. But I've run out of time for this evening. We're pushing into the third hour, so I'm going to wrap this up. Boy, I fucking certainly appreciate you being here to reflect with me on this. And thank you for the music. Any parting words for the people at home?
Stay safe, stay true, be kind.
Indeed. Love, light, and peace, and keep doing good magic, boy. I love you, brother. I hope to see you on the next transmission, man. Keep getting out there and shaking your thing. I'm gonna sign off, guys, with one final song from Dweller of the Dark. It's one of my favorites. It's a little bit dark, but yeah, it's good magic, man. And let me pull it up here for you. For y'all good-looking, sexy people out there in Happy Land, keep doing your thing. Keep shaking your moneymaker. Keep getting involved, man. Get involved. I think that's an important part of this aspect, that you need to have the motivating spark of something. In this case, it's going to be the divine and the divine revelation of deception and charlatans and all of that seems so important to me. For some reason, I've kind of latched onto this angle, and I think that it's the one thing that I can bring forward is spiritual experience upon spiritual experience encoded in a way that makes sense to people and are genuine revelations of worlds beyond this world that we can connect with and lead happy, long lives of prosperity and win. Fuck, is there so much wrong with winning? And like you're gonna experience so much winning that you're gonna get tired of winning and be like, oh my God, we're winning so much. And we're gonna bring back the traditional, more conservative approach and let people know that Jesus was a magician and a very powerful one. And he commanded his followers, right? Cast out demons, heal the sick, and raise the dead.
flying high, cats on the prowl, devils in your bed, their whispers so loud, witches on my heels, so they'll steal, running in the dark, truth they conceal. Blood on the walls, spattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Hounds howl at night, shadows in the light, fear in every breath, eyes wide with fright. Caused up by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, spattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think. Cards dealt by fate, no way to escape. Threads getting tight, can't see the daylight. Blood on the walls, spattering a sink. God can't help the dead, no time to think.
That was Dweller of the Dark with God Can't Help the Dead. But we can, brothers and sisters, beloved, everyone out there in Happy Land, keep doing your thing, shaking your moneymaker. And until the next one, make sure you check me out at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Put a little something in the tip jar. I had to put the lid in my pencil, the pep in my step, and the jelly in my donut. And as a result, I'll keep rolling with the punches with my nose to the grindstone and working for all of you. Kind of a big deal, man. 3 hours more than I should have gone, but I would appreciate if you like the video, hit the button, do the thing, and I will see you on the next transmission. Remember, everyone, goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. Because love is the law, love under will, and do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Carpe diem and ad astra per asperum. Until next time, bye for now.